Chapter 643. However, she felt that she must have unconsciously sought a sense of security after she fell asleep. That was why she was like this. Di Hao Ian saw that she was pregnant and pitied her, so he did not push her away. Now that she was close to him awake, Di Hao Ian should not refuse. Tang Bao was almost pressed against Di Hao Ian's arm before saying, "I just want to see the company. Can you promise me?" "No. What does it matter? I'll be very careful." There's no room for discussion. Di Hao Ian, shut up. I won't shut up. Di Hao Ian, I'll just go once. After that, I'll obediently stay in the castle and wait for the child to be born. Tang Bao was still arguing for herself when her mouth was suddenly covered by his hands. She wanted to struggle, but she could not break free from Di Hao Ian. Her entire body was pressed down by him. Even if that was not the case, it was especially difficult for her to move with such a big belly. When Di Hao Ian had enough, she was so close to death that she could not speak. She did not dare to say anything else, afraid that Di Hao Ian would press her down again and she would really die. Even though she said that when Di Hao Ian was not around the next day, Tang Bao still wanted to go to the gate. As expected, she was stopped by someone as soon as she reached the gate. Tang Bao did not look unhappy. To be honest, ever since she was pregnant, she had never gone out except for the prenatal checkup and the last time when Yu Songhuan took her for a paternity test. On one hand, she did not really want to go out. On the other hand, Di Hao Ian did not let her go out. Actually, she did not really want to go out at the moment. Last night, when she mentioned it to Di Hao Ian, and today, she was just putting on an act. Today was not the day she really wanted to leave the castle. "Young madam, you can't go out. If young master finds out, he'll be angry," Zhongli advised. "Why can't he let me go out? I'm going to the company, not anywhere else. But it's dangerous for you to go out with such a big belly. I'll be careful, but there's always a chance. Even if young Master Di doesn't agree, I don't dare to let young madam out of the castle." Zhongli didn't know why Tang Bao suddenly wanted to go out. He had already endured 7 months, so what was another 2 or 3 months to go? Tang Bao pretended to be angry, turned around, left the door, and went straight back to his room. When Di Hao Ian returned in the afternoon, Zhongli immediately went forward and said, "Young master, young madam is in a bad mood. It was best to comfort her." These were Zhong Li's heartfelt words. Di Hao Ian's black eyes moved slightly, his face stern. "Young madam wanted to go out, but we didn't let her." Zhong Li explained the reason why Tang Bao was angry. She didn't even have dessert in the afternoon. Tang Bao was sitting on the sofa next to the floor-to-ceiling window in the living room. He was holding a book in his hand, but his eyes were fixed outside the window. Obviously, he was in low spirits. After Di Hao Ian entered, she didn't move and continued to look out of the window. Di Hao Ian walked over. His tall figure shrouded her, and his aura was oppressive. "You want to go out?" Tang Bao turned his face and looked up at Di Hao Ian aggrievedly. The doctor said that a pregnant woman's mood is very important. If she's in a bad mood, it's very easy for her to have prenatal depression. He really couldn't tell that she was in a bad mood. He only saw that she was playing tricks on him. However, Di Hao Ian wasn't angry. Instead, he felt that it was cute. He felt that he must have been possessed. "I'll take you out tonight." Di Hao Ian turned around and took off his coat. Tonight?" Tang Bao asked in surprise. She was so excited that she wanted to get up, but she couldn't because of her big belly. She tried a few times, but to no avail. Just as she gave up, a force pulled her up. It was as if an endless amount of inner strength was injected into her body, and her body became lighter. When she saw that it was Di Hao Ian who pulled her up, she smiled. "Di Hao Ian, are you talking about tonight? The company has already gotten off work, right? Do you want people to see you like this?" Tang Bao thought to herself. Not only did she not want to, she also didn't want to go to the company now. She was just saying it. There was no need to take it seriously. She didn't expect Di Hao Ian to agree so readily. Di Hao Ian didn't say anything else and turned to enter the cloakroom. Tang Bao followed him into the cloakroom. When she saw Di Hao Ian taking off his clothes and was about to reveal his muscular body, she immediately retreated from the cloakroom. Not long after, Di Hao Yin walked out in only a bathrobe and entered the bathroom. Tang Bao raised her face normally. Di Hao Yin was going out after taking a shower and changing his clothes? Should she also change her clothes? Tang Bao entered the cloakroom. Looking at her maternity clothes, she couldn't help but sigh. No matter how beautiful the maternity clothes were, they were still maternity clothes. She definitely couldn't wear those beautiful dresses with a slim waist. She didn't need to take a shower. She could just change her clothes. After hesitating for a long time, she finally chose a pink maternity dress. It was the kind of watery pink that looked very beautiful. She had just taken off her home clothes. Before she could put on the dress, Di Hao Yin, who had just taken a shower, came in. Tang Bao was so shocked that the dress in her hand fell to the ground. Oh no! She couldn't bend down at all. She couldn't pick it up. At this time, she couldn't care less about the dress on the ground. Tang Bao immediately turned around. The curves of her back were perfectly displayed. She didn't look fat because of her pregnancy. From her back, it looked like she wasn't pregnant. Her arms and legs were thin, and even the name that Di Hao Yin had carved on her back didn't change at all. Di Hao Yin's gaze fell on Tang Bao's body. He felt that under his gaze, Tang Bao was slowly becoming shy at a speed visible to the naked eye. Her ears were tinged with a hint of pink, which was very similar to the watery pink dress that he picked up from the ground. It was beautiful and beautiful. Tang Bao had her back to him. She lowered her head and couldn't see the movements behind her. Because of the silence, she was very nervous. She was also shy. Her current figure wasn't good-looking. It was very strange to have a big belly. She subconsciously raised her gaze and saw the two figures in the mirror next to her. She realized that Di Hao Yin was holding her maternity dress in his hand and staring at her with an invasive gaze that was like a beast that wanted to bite her neck and drink her blood. I thought that I would definitely have to change my clothes when I go out. Give it to me. Tang Bao reached out and grabbed the maternity dress in Di Hao Yin's hand. With her back facing Di Hao Yin, she began to quickly put it on. She couldn't hide her nervousness. After putting it on, she didn't look at Di Hao Yin. After all, Di Hao Yin was completely dressed at this moment. The scorching heat on his body was oppressive. If she didn't go out now, she would be roasted. After Tang Bao went out, Di Hao Yin lowered his head and looked down. He saw that his body was abnormally active. He hadn't done anything yet, but he had such a big reaction. This feeling of being controlled made his heart very irritated, and it also brought with it a wave of evil fire. Chapter 644. Tang Bao didn't even know what happened in between when she was pushed onto the bed by Di Hao Yin, with a punitive intimacy and biting. Tang Bao's breathing was rapid, intertwining with Di Hao Yin's heavy breathing. She couldn't even speak a word. Even her big belly was not spared. It made her want to crawl under the bed. When it was over, Tang Bao's clothes were a mess. They were dirty and wrinkled. There was no way to let them out. In the end, Tang Bao had to change out of her dress with a red face. She couldn't wear it anymore. When she left the castle, it was already dark. The banquet of the Chamber of Commerce was full of big shots from all walks of life. However, Di Hao Yin's appearance still caused quite a stir. This was because Zhou Jisen was usually the one who appeared at the tea. Now that Di Hao Yin personally appeared, how could it not cause a commotion? His appearance was already surprising enough, not to mention that he brought a woman with him, especially a pregnant woman. Tang Bao thought, can I escape at this moment? Why didn't I go to my company, but to some banquet? It's really a surprise that young Master D came to the banquet of the Chamber of Commerce. The entire venue is honored. The president of the Chamber of Commerce came forward and shook hands. Di Hao Yin reached out and shook hands with him. His aura was explosive. Tang Bao couldn't help but be attracted to him. This was the first time she saw Di Hao Yin's demeanor on such an occasion. She felt her little heart pounding. He was dressed in a well-ironed black suit. He was tall and stylish, but it couldn't suppress his cold and fierce aura of a king. The president turned his attention. Di Hao Yin's gaze fell on Tang Bao's face, who was uneasy. Tang Bao thought to herself, can she disappear on the spot? Can she not speak? Obviously not. She didn't know what she was thinking. Perhaps it was because Di Hao Ian had never acknowledged her identity, or she was afraid that Di Hao Ian would say something that would make her feel depressed. She said before Di Hao Ian, "I'm his sister. He's my brother." "Ah, so it's Miss Lan. Nice to meet you." The president's face was full of smiles. Tang Bao almost bit her tongue. If she had known, she would have let Di Hao Ian say it. Wasn't Di Hao Ian's sister just Lan Wanru? Although she was not his real sister, she was Di Junbai's sister. Di Junbai also called Di Hao Ian brother. Wasn't she his sister? The president didn't know what was going on, but after she said those words, he felt Di Hao Ian's aura blow like a cold wind, making people panic. The president was a person who was good at reading people's expressions. He knew that he must have said something wrong. Could this person not be Lan Wanru? He heard that Miss Lan's body was weak, but the girl in front of him had a rosy complexion and was full of vitality. She didn't look weak at all. Just as Di Hao Ian was at a loss for what to do, someone beside him handed him a glass of wine. The president immediately took it and personally handed it to Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian didn't move. This filled the entire banquet hall with tension. Just when the tension reached a certain level, Di Hao Ian raised his hand to take the wine and took a sip. Only then did the tension in his heart relax a little. Tang Bao, who was standing next to him, was also personally served a healthy fruit drink like a VIP. Tang Bao drank it silently. She thought that Di Hao Ian wouldn't mind others calling her Miss Lan, because in Di Hao Ian's heart, Lan Wanru was always more important than her. If she wasn't pregnant, Di Hao Ian wouldn't have brought her to such a place. She came with Di Hao Ian, so her status was naturally noble. But it wasn't hard to imagine the various speculations of others. He brought a woman, and a pregnant woman. This woman was Di Hao Ian's woman. This child was Di Hao Ian's child. But Di Hao Ian wasn't married? Why did he bring her out so brazenly? Fortunately, Tang Bao was always by Di Hao Ian's side, so the others didn't have a chance to ask her anything. Just as she was thinking about this, Di Hao Ian left her side. Tang Bao was about to call out to him, but she took back her words. What did Di Hao Ian mean? Was he going to leave her alone? Just as Tang Bao stood there alone and thought about how to deal with people who came to talk to her, she saw Di Hao Ian coming from afar with food in his hands, until he was in front of her. Tang Bao saw the food and was stunned. "You want to get food for me? What do you think?" That was true. They hadn't eaten dinner yet. She had been following Di Hao Ian all this time and didn't go anywhere. Naturally, she hadn't eaten anything. However, since she didn't eat, Di Hao Ian naturally didn't eat anything either. She said, "Can you take me to the dining area? I think I can eat more." When they arrived at the dining area, the two of them sat down and ate facing each other. Tang Bao was really hungry, so she buried her head in the food. Di Hao Ian ate a little and drank a glass of wine in his hand. Not far away, two women looked at the dining area from time to time and gossiped softly. "Who is this woman?" The young master's eyes have been staring at her. "I even specially dressed up, but I didn't expect him to not look at me at all. It's not just you." Other than that woman, which woman did the young master look at? If he said it was his sister, would you believe it? Definitely not. When the president mentioned Miss Lan just now, the atmosphere was obviously wrong. So, she's his lover. Really? I heard that the young master isn't a man who's obsessed with women. He wouldn't bring a lover to such an important occasion, right? And this lover is pregnant? The young master is indeed a mysterious man, and so are the women around him. Tang Bao ended with half a glass of juice. She looked at the food in front of Di Hao Ian that he hadn't eaten much and asked, "Is it not to your taste?" "Yes." Di Hao Ian responded faintly and looked away. Could he not say that he was watching Tang Bao eat and had no interest in the food in front of him? "Then I'll ask the kitchen to make some for you to eat when we go back." Tang Bao wasn't a selfish person. He couldn't fill his own stomach and ignore Di Hao Ian. After Tang Bao finished eating, Di Hao Ian left the venue with her. She was the first to leave. After getting into the car, Tang Bao reminded Di Hao Ian, "You brought me here. Maybe tomorrow, everyone will know that you, the young master, brought a pregnant woman to a banquet." "No." Di Hao Ian's expression was indifferent. "Why? I wouldn't dare." Tang Bao was speechless. That was right. No one dared. Direct and violent. Unless it was Di Hao Ian's instructions. When they were about to reach the castle, Tang Bao asked, Di Hao Ian, shall we get off here? It's going to take a walk. Di Hao Ian's expression didn't change. Tang Bao pulled Di Hao Ian's index finger and shook it slightly like a coquettish girl. Let's walk. I ate too much. He watched. How could he let her eat too much? However, he still knocked on the car door. The car stopped on the road. There was no need to stop. Chapter 645. On the spacious asphalt road, there were street lamps on the side of the road, illuminating the shadows of the trees. The bright moon hung high in the sky, and the stars were so clear. The wind blew on their faces, and it was very cool. Tang Bao looked away from the sky and looked at Di Hao Ian, asking, Is it comfortable to walk like this? Di Hao Ian did not say anything. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Ian's large hand beside him and imagined the feeling of being tightly wrapped. With this thought, she reached out her small hand and took the initiative to put it into his large hand. Di Hao Ian's eyes narrowed slightly as he squeezed her hand. Tang Bao had a smile on her face, but her heart was bitter. Di Hao Ian, if you knew that I was going to leave you, would you still treat me like this? I don't want to leave you, but I don't know if you will believe me and that the paternity test is real. If you don't believe it, then won't I and the child in my belly be in danger? Just by holding Tang Bao's hand, Di Hao Ian seemed to feel the change in Tang Bao's mood. He turned his face and looked down at Tang Bao, who had her head lowered and was thinking about something. Tang Bao seemed to sense it and raised her small face. When she met Di Hao Ian's unfathomable black eyes, she was stunned for a moment, then smiled. On the afternoon of the third day, Tang Bao's phone rang. It was Yu Sanghuan calling. Have you thought about it? Tang Bao had the phone pressed to her ear and looked out of the French window in a daze. She said, I want to do another paternity test. Are you trying to stall for time with me? Or do you think I'll give you another chance to secretly tamper with it? How can I, a pregnant woman, tamper with it? Don't try to be smart in front of me. It's useless. I'm just asking you, have you thought about it? Yu Sanghuan's tone was very strict. Mom, let me go. The child in my stomach is really Di Hao Ian's. Tang Bao begged. Yu Sanghuan's expression was extremely ugly. In other words, you don't want to leave Hao Ian? Very good. I can see that you're the kind of person who won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Today is the deadline, and I'm a man of my word. I'll call Hao Ian and ask him to come here. Mom. Tang Bao still wanted to say something, but the phone was hung up. Tang Bao's heart was in a mess. What should she do? What would Di Hao Ian do if he knew? At this moment, the child in her stomach suddenly moved, scaring her so much that her face turned pale. What kind of omen was this? Could it be that even the children felt insecure? Tang Bao held his belly with both hands in fear and stroked it over and over again, trying to comfort the panicked child. After Yu Sanghuan hung up the phone, he was furious. It seemed that things had to be done this way. She gave Tang Bao a chance first because she didn't want anything to happen to her. Wasn't it good to take the child far away? She didn't expect her to be so ungrateful. She suppressed her anger and called Di Hao Ian. As soon as the call ended, Lan Wanru arrived. Miss Lan, Aunt Wang greeted her. Lan Wanru saw Yu Sanghuan's unhappy expression and hurried over. Auntie, what's wrong? Besides that Tang Bao, what else can make me so angry? She's pregnant now, and it's brother Hao Ian's child. How can it make Auntie happy? Lan Wanru's eyes flashed as he said. Yu Sanghuan looked at Lan Wanru with a sharp gaze. Wanru, even if you knew that there was something wrong with Tang Bao's child, you wouldn't have told me, right? Auntie, I don't know what you're talking about. Lan Wanru lowered his gaze as if he couldn't face it. I already know everything. Tang Bao's child isn't Hao Ian's, and you don't have to hide it from me. If it weren't for Lan Wanru's maid gossiping, she wouldn't have suspected Tang Bao at all. Auntie, did you misunderstand something? How can Tang Bao's child not brother Hao Ian's? If it was a rumor in the past, now that I've done a DNA test, how can it be fake? I'm so angry. Lan Wanru saw that Yu Sanghuan was panting in anger and quickly served her tea. Auntie, calm down. If all DNA tests are like this, then I have nothing to say, But now that things have come to this, we can only solve it. If only I had married you back then, all these things wouldn't have happened. Yu Song-hwan said regretfully and hatefully. As long as Brother Hao Yin wants me, I'll always wait for him, Lan Wanru confided. This matter must be solved today. Without Tang Bao, I'll make Hao Yin marry you no matter what. Yu Song-hwan was simply dissatisfied with Tang Bao. Lan Wanru was much gentler and more demure than her. Why is there no Tang Bao? Lan Wanru asked, puzzled. I just called Hao Yin to come over. I want to show him the results of the DNA test. Even if it's heartbreaking, he must know. As long as he knows that he was deceived and betrayed by Tang Bao, the Tang Bao will definitely not have a good ending. Lan Wanru didn't expect that she would come at such a coincidental time. How long had it been since she last saw Di Hao Yin? She had missed Di Hao Yin for as long as she hadn't seen him. About half an hour later, Di Hao Yin arrived at the bungalow. When she saw Di Hao Yin's tall figure enter the door, she immediately stood up and walked forward happily. Brother Hao Yin, you're here? I just arrived. If I knew you were coming, I would have come even earlier. Are you feeling better? Di Hao Yin looked at her. Much better. Thank you, Brother Hao Yin, for your concern. Di Hao Yin nodded slightly, sat down on the sofa, and asked Yu Song-hwan, why are you looking for me? Hao Yin, there's something I want to tell you. It's very serious. I hope you can be mentally prepared. Yu Song-hwan believed that the Di family wouldn't be so fragile, especially Di Hao Yin. Di Hao Yin picked up the tea in front of him and took a sip. Lan Wanru, who was standing not far behind him, turned on her phone and silently answered the call. Of course, she was calling Tang Bao. Tang Bao was pacing back and forth in the room in a daze. He picked up the call as soon as it came. Then Di Hao Yin asked, what's the matter? Tang Bao was stunned. This wasn't Di Hao Yin's number, right? She had saved Di Hao Yin's number. Then whose was it? After thinking carefully, she realized that this was Lan Wanru's number. Was Lan Wanru using this method to provoke her again? It was obvious that Di Hao Yin was with Lan Wanru at this moment. What did Di Hao Yin mean? Could it be that he was with Lan Wanru behind her back during the day? She thought that Di Hao Yin would either return to the castle on time or early every day. He had never gone to look for Lan Wanru. It turned out that it wasn't that he didn't go, but that he went and she didn't know, just as she was about to turn off her phone in a depressed mood. Chapter 646. After saying that, he winked at Annie Wong. Annie Wong immediately went to get it. Tang Bao was so scared that her whole body went weak and trembled. Yu Song-hwan really wanted to show Di Hao Yin the paternity test results. How could he? Annie Wong handed the paternity test results to Di Hao Yin. Di Hao Yin's face was expressionless as he took the paternity test results. Ju, who was standing outside, noticed everything that was happening inside. His expression was serious. If there was no problem with the results, was there a need to show it to Di Hao Yin? However, Ju still didn't quite believe the results. What problem could there be with the child in Tang Bao's stomach? The problem was only with the human heart. However, if such a report was really shown to Di Hao Yin, how serious would the consequences be? Di Hao Yin flipped open the paternity test results and looked at the name on the top and the results below. His dark eyes narrowed, and his emotions couldn't be seen clearly. But needless to say, the atmosphere had changed. It was just the calm before the storm. I took the cup that you drank from and Tang Bao's amniotic fluid to do a paternity test. This is the result. Tang Bao could feel the terrifying aura spreading through the phone. His hand that was holding the phone almost couldn't hold it anymore and kept trembling. His face was pale. Di Hao Yin saw it. He saw it. Did you show it to her? Di Hao Yin's voice was very low and deep. He didn't see his anger. But Tang Bao knew very well that the most terrifying thing about Di Hao Yin was the calm before his anger. Yes, even if she saw it, she would never admit it. What's the use of her not admitting it? The results are clear. It's not up to her to decide, Yu Song-hwan said. Lan Wanru saw this and immediately took a few steps forward to put in a good word for Tang Bao. Brother Hao Yin, I think Tang Bao didn't do it on purpose. She must have her reasons. Or maybe she was still young and did something wrong at that time. Why don't you just let her off? Just drive her out of the castle, but don't hurt her or the child in her belly. After all, she has been with you for so long. Just take it as pity on her. Lan Wanru's words only made Tang Bao's heart turn cold. Was he speaking up for her? This was adding fuel to the fire. Just as she was fuming, she heard Di Hao Ian's low and intimidating voice. Ju, bring her here. Tang Bao was so shocked that his phone slipped out of his hand, including her tears. Di Hao Ian still didn't believe her. Ju wouldn't have asked him to bring her there if he didn't believe the report. If she went over, what would happen to her? Tang Bao didn't even dare to imagine. Ju's expression changed when he heard Di Hao Ian's words. He immediately stepped forward and said, Young master, this matter needs to be investigated. Di Hao Ian looked at Ju coldly and said, Are you disobeying? Ju was forced to look down and said, No, I'm not. He had never disobeyed Di Hao Ian's orders. This was the first time. He could only turn around and leave the bungalow to carry out the order. As soon as Ju left to carry out the order, Lan Wanru's eyes hid a smug smile and silently hung up the phone. At this time, Tang Bao must be scared out of his wits, right? She was just waiting for Di Hao Ian to torture her to death. Did he think it would be fine if he didn't let her go? The two children in her belly wouldn't have a good ending either. Yu Songhuan was still worried about his son's emotions. He couldn't help but comfort him. I didn't expect this to happen either. At least the truth is right in front of us. You can remarry another wife and have another son. Many women want to give birth to your children. Without Tang Bao, your marriage will be better. Yes, Brother Hao Ian. This shows that Tang Bao is stupid. Who else can be better than Brother Hao Ian? If I were her, I would never do anything to let you down. Lan Wanru's words were a show of loyalty to Di Hao Ian. Actually, I don't think it's necessary for Tang Bao to come here. You could just send her away. I really don't want to see her anymore. From now on, you could just pretend that Tang Bao doesn't exist. Come here and let her see the truth. A divorce will only make her quibble in front of you. Yu Songhuan didn't want to look at Tang Bao's face now. He didn't know what sin he had committed to cause such a shameful thing to happen. What did I say? I was going to divorce her. Di Hao Ian's tone was low and cold, and his dark eyes were deep. Yu Songhuan and Lan Wanru, who were beside her, were stunned. You? What do you mean? Yu Songhuan was surprised. If you don't divorce her, are you going to raise someone else's child for her? Are you crazy? You're willing to go to this extent for Tang Bao. Yu Songhuan almost couldn't sit still. Do you think the child in her stomach is someone else's? Di Hao Qian looked at Yu Songhuan coldly with an expressionless face. The paternity test is here. How can it be faked? If it's your child, I can't wait to cherish it. Why would I frame her like this? Yu Songhuan's face turned ugly when he heard Di Hao Ian's words. Did he think she was his stepmother? His words couldn't be trusted? She didn't want him, okay? Wait for her to come. Di Hao Ian sat lazily on the sofa and didn't say another word. Yu Songhuan and Lan Wanru couldn't figure out what Di Hao Ian was thinking. This shouldn't be his attitude after knowing the results of the paternity test. He should be furious and go straight back to the castle to kill Tang Bao and the child in her stomach. But now, Lan Wanru felt uneasy. Could it be that the Tang Bao's matter could still be resolved? Impossible. This must be the calm before the storm. Otherwise, why would Di Hao Ian ask Ju to bring the Tang Bao here? Anyway, she was waiting here to see what would happen to the Tang Bao. Ju sat in the car with a grave expression. Di Hao Ian obviously knew about the paternity test, but he didn't ask about it. Was it because he agreed with Yu Songhuan? Did he also want to know the results? No, this wasn't his style of doing things. If he wanted to know, he would never let others do it. He would even do it secretly. This kind of thing wasn't something to be proud of. Just as Ju was puzzled, his phone rang. It was the castle's bodyguard. He's bad news. Young madam is out. Why didn't you stop her? Young madam threatened us with the child in her stomach. We didn't dare to stop her and lost her. The bodyguard was also very nervous. After all, if something happened, they wouldn't be able to live anymore. How long has she been gone? Ju asked. 5 minutes. The car was about to reach the castle. After driving into the castle, Ju looked out of the car window. According to the Tang Bao's distance and time, they wouldn't be out of the castle in 5 minutes. Halfway through, Ju asked the driver to stop. He got out of the car. Looking around, there were green trees and leaves on both sides of the road. Ju's calculations were really accurate. Chapter 6:47. At this moment, she was hiding behind the bushes, bending over with great difficulty. Ju came too quickly, and the car stopped right in front of her. Tang Bao was afraid that Ju would look for her in the bushes. After all, he must have known that she was in this area. Therefore, she wanted to quietly retreat and find a safer place to hide. However, just as she was about to move her feet, she stepped on a withered branch, and a snapping sound was heard. She was so scared that she almost stopped breathing. She hoped that Ju did not hear her. Ju's senses were quite sharp. He looked away and said to his men, "Go ahead and look for her." Yes. The men drove the car forward. Ju approached the bushes where there was movement. Tang Bao bent over with great difficulty. As soon as she raised her head, she met Ju's face. Ju went into the bushes and looked at Tang Bao. "Are you here to catch me?" Tang Bao asked unnecessary questions. She took 2 steps back in fear, afraid that Ju would catch her. "Can you pretend that you didn't see me? The child in my belly is Yian's. It's his flesh and blood. Nothing can happen to the child." Tang Bao's eyes were filled with tears. Her heart ached so much that it felt like it was being torn apart. She was almost out of breath. "I sent the others away," Ju said. Tang Bao looked at him in confusion. Ju's loyalty to Yian was very clear. "You can't escape," Ju said. Tang Bao's lips trembled. He sent the others away and came to catch her himself? Regardless of whether he sent the others away or not, as long as Ju was here, she could not escape. "There's a tracker on your ring." "What did you say?" Tang Bao asked in disbelief. He lowered his head and looked at the beautiful pink diamond on his finger. He looked around but could not find the tracker that Ju had mentioned. "It's inside." Ju took out a small knife. "I'll help you remove it." Tang Bao raised his finger and asked Ju to help him deal with the tracker. The sharp tip of the knife was carefully inserted into the ring. After all, it was easy to injure the hand if it was touching the flesh. "Don't worry about whether you'll hurt me or not. Hurry up. Otherwise, if the Yian discovers me, I'll be done for," Tang Bao urged. Ju didn't say anything and focused on poking the inside of the ring with the tip of the knife. First, he had to remove the ring before he could take out the tracker. The tip of the knife was stuck inside, and the ring was slowly removed from the finger. After taking off the ring, Ju scraped the inner layer with a knife and pressed it. A small piece of soft tracker emerged. Ju directly destroyed it. Tang Bao couldn't imagine that there was a tracker in his ring. Yian's possessiveness was unimaginably terrifying. This was definitely something that he did before he lost his memory. No wonder she always felt that she could be found anywhere Yian at that time. So that was what happened. Yes, with this thing, even if she ran to the ends of the earth, she would still be caught by Yian. "I can only let you go, but I can't find a place for you to hide," Ju said. Letting Tang Bao go was already his bottom line. The more he meddled, the more Yian would suspect. "This is already very good." "Ju, thank you," Tang Bao said gratefully. "You've never betrayed Yian, but because of me, this is not considered betrayal. The young master is not the real him now. If he recovers his memory, and because I didn't help you escape, I will be unlucky. Not hurting you is the young master's wish." Tang Bao smiled helplessly. Yian had hurt her too much. She didn't even know if he was sincere or not. "Did you bring enough things?" Ju glanced at the backpack behind her and asked. "Don't worry, I brought everything. Let's go." Tang Bao turned around and left. He didn't dare to delay. Only after a few steps, he stopped and turned back to look at Ju. "Take good care of Malay. She's a good girl. Don't worry. I'm relieved that you said these 2 words." Tang Bao's eyes were hot. He forcefully suppressed the tears in his eyes, turned around, and left without looking back. Ju had just left when the men who were looking for Tang Bao returned. "Iswa, we didn't see the young madam." "I didn't see her either," Ju said. "Then what should we do? Where could the young madam have run to?" Ju wanted to stall for time for Tang Bao and said, "Look for her again. Yes. Tang Bao had hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash on him. It was very heavy in his backpack. However, it made her feel at ease. She got into a taxi. "Where are you going?" The taxi driver asked. Tang Bao racked his brains. If she said that she was going to the train station or the airport, it definitely wouldn't work. In that kind of place, there were surveillance cameras everywhere. With Di Haoyan's power, he could easily find her by checking the surveillance cameras. "Sir, are you going somewhere far?" Tang Bao asked. "Where are you going?" "Well, overseas." "Are you kidding me? A taxi going overseas? Are you trying to kill me?" Tang Bao was really not in the mood to joke with him. However, he also knew that it was a little exaggerated for a taxi to go overseas. So he said, "Then go to the countryside of another city that's not in the city of D City." "Young lady, who did you offend?" The taxi driver looked at her stomach. She didn't want to stay in such a big city and wanted to go somewhere else. In the countryside, Tang Bao was not in the mood to talk about this with him. He said unhappily, "Are you going or not?" "Go, of course I'm going. Wouldn't it be stupid not to earn money? Also, find a road without surveillance cameras and drive." The taxi driver thought to himself, and she said that she didn't offend anyone. It was obvious that he was trying to escape. He just didn't know who a pregnant woman could offend. The taxi driver thought to himself, should he not drive her? What would he do if he was implicated then? He couldn't find her, so he called Di Haoyan. "Young master, young madam is missing." "Where is she?" Di Haoyan's face darkened, and the temperature in the air immediately dropped by a few degrees. "I looked around the castle several times, but I didn't see her." Di Haoyan hung up the phone, stood up, and left. Yu Song-hwan didn't have time to say a word before Di Haoyan's figure had already gotten into the car. Lan Wanru's face didn't look good. He thought about the words, "Where is she?" that Di Haoyan said after taking the phone. Could it be that Tang Bao ran away? How could he let her run away? She should have been tortured to death by Di Haoyan. Tang Bao must have heard Di Haoyan instructing Hiju to catch her and heard that she ran away. She was the one who called, so she couldn't let Di Haoyan know. Otherwise, he would blame her. Di Haoyan got into the car and began to look at his phone. He checked the location, but found that the location had disappeared. Di Haoyan's face suddenly became frighteningly gloomy. Chapter 648. So, halfway there the car stopped. Tang Bao was stunned. "Why did you stop here?" "I thought about it. I don't want to go the long way. You just said that you could go. You even said that you'd be stupid if you don't make money." Tang Bao was speechless by the driver's reneging. "I've thought it through. I don't want to do this business with you." Tang Bao was angry and anxious. It was a race against time for her now, and this person was wasting her time. "I'll pay more." "No, it's not about money. I just don't want to go. I remember that I have something to do later. I really can't go. Get out of the car." Tang Bao looked at him coldly. "You're afraid of offending someone, aren't you?" The driver's eyes flashed guiltily and said, "What am I afraid of? I just don't want to give you a ride. Is that a good enough reason?" "Good enough, my ass." Tang Bao cursed fiercely in her heart. She must have said something that made the driver's imagination run wild. That's why she scared the taxi driver. But if she didn't say that, wouldn't it be the same as passing under Di Haoyan's nose if the car was driven under surveillance? Tang Bao was now under great pressure to get out of the car, but she had no choice but to say, "Drive to a place where there are no surveillance cameras. Then I'll get out of the car." "Why? It's not like I don't want to pay you." Tang Bao suppressed the anger in her heart. "I won't give you a ride, even if you pay me." The driver waved his hand and made up his mind. Tang Bao was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Now, there were cars and people coming and going outside the car window. She didn't know that there were Di Haoyan spies there. At this time, Di Haoyan must have found out that she was not in the castle and ran away. Maybe he was looking for her angrily now, but seeing that the driver was determined not to give her a ride, Tang Bao could only scare him. "Okay, if you don't drive, I won't get out of the car. Let's just wait like this. When those people find me, I'll say that you and I are accomplices." "You? What about me? I'm sure you can tell that the person I'm hiding from is someone with power and influence. He's not someone ordinary people like you and me can deal with. I'm pregnant now, and I'm sure you're a married man. Aren't you worried about your wife and child? The driver's expression immediately changed. Wasn't he working so hard just for his own home? Are you threatening me? Yeah, I'm threatening you. Tang Bao did not hide his purpose. You win. The driver had no choice but to start the car and find a place without surveillance to take a detour. He took a detour to a desolate alley and stopped. All right, there are no surveillance cameras around here, the driver said unhappily. He wanted to get rid of this person quickly. He was already unlucky enough. Tang Bao took out some change from his bag and handed it to him. I still have money. The driver thought that this person would take a taxi. Of course, I'm not going to take a ride. These were two different matters. She still had to give him money. He was here for a living, and she was not a robber. The driver took the money in surprise. Tang Bao pushed the door open and got out. He walked into the alley. The driver hurriedly drove away, afraid that this person would change his mind and ask him to take him somewhere. This was the first time he saw a business in front of him run away in fear. Di Haoyan's car entered the castle, and the men and women in the castle were all frightened. Li En and Zhang Li were the first to bear the brunt, and their faces were pale. If she goes out, are you all dead? Di Haoyan was furious. Li En lowered his head. Young master, it's my fault. I'll take responsibility for it alone. Di Haoyan glanced at Li En with a murderous look and turned to go upstairs. In the room, it was as usual. However, he found that Tang Bao's backpack was missing. Di Haoyan's sharp eyes glanced at the silver box at the side. He opened it and glanced at it. There were 200,000 yuan missing. Di Haoyan's face was suddenly filled with ruthlessness. She asked him for cash just to prepare for her escape. She had long planned to leave him. How long had she been planning? Why did she want to leave? Leave with his child? Di Haoyan immediately thought of the paternity test. No matter what the reason was, she was audacious to run away with his child. The chauffeur was driving around, trying to find customers. Just as he was looking out the car window, he didn't notice the car in front of him. When he noticed it, he immediately stepped on the brakes. Although he didn't hit it, he quickly got out of the car and ran to the front of the car to check the situation. The car in front of him was an expensive luxury car. Even if he scraped a piece of paint, it was enough to make him cry. A black shadow covered the driver's eyes. He raised his head and was met with a pair of eyes that were as cold as hell. He was so frightened that he took a few steps back, but he was blocked by the power behind him. He was so scared that he turned around and saw the bodyguard dressed in black. Who did he offend? You picked up a pregnant woman today. Where did she get off? Di Haoyan asked coldly. Pregnant woman? The driver immediately searched his memory and remembered that the only pregnant woman he had ever picked up was the one who had threatened him. So soon, she came to find him? Was this a joke? I picked up a pregnant woman. The driver didn't dare to hide anything. He had never seen someone who could be so scary with just a look. Lead the way. Di Haoyan's words were like ice. Yes. The driver drove in front and led the way until they reached the place where the Tang Bao had dropped off. It's here. Then I drove away, the driver said. Di Haoyan looked at the alleys around him. There was no warmth in his eyes. His gaze was extremely sharp, as if he wanted to clearly see any traces of Tang Bao's aura left behind. Tang Bao walked around the alleys, thinking about whether she should find a place to stay first or take a taxi and leave this place. After all, the most dangerous place was the safest. Just as Tang Bao was thinking about this, she saw an unusually powerful formation not far away from the corner. Tang Bao was so scared that she immediately retracted her foot. Although she didn't see Di Haoyan's people, she immediately knew that Di Haoyan was here when she saw the car. She was lucky that she didn't see Di Haoyan's figure. If she saw him, Di Haoyan would have caught up with her by now. Didn't they say that the most dangerous place was the safest place? Di Haoyan found her too quickly. It seemed that she couldn't stay in this alley anymore. She had to leave immediately. However, just as she was looking for another way, she found that Di Haoyan's people had blocked the other intersections. Tang Bao found a total of 3 intersections, but she found that there were people blocking all of them. Needless to say, the other intersections were also blocked by Di Haoyan's people. What should she do? Was it impossible for her to escape now? Damn it! If she had known, she wouldn't have hesitated and left quickly. Now, she would fall into Di Hao Ian's hands again. Chapter 649. He could just pretend that he had been betrayed and pretend that she did not exist. Couldn't he? At this moment, Tang Bao realized that not only could she not run away, but the bodyguards who were blocking the entrances of the alleys were also closing in on her. It was like a net that had been cast and was gradually closing in. The small fry who was trapped in the net could only be caught. Tang Bao was forced to move back and stick close to the wall. She really hoped that the person who saw her was he Jew and then let her go, just like what happened in the castle. However, the person who approached her first was not he Jew. The bodyguards kept searching in her direction and were getting closer and closer. Tang Bao hugged her stomach with one hand and walked with the other hand against the wall. Her eyes were filled with tears of fear. If she was caught by Di Hao Ian, she would definitely not have a good ending. She wanted to protect her child. She could not let her child get hurt again. Just when Tang Bao had nowhere to go, the place where his back was pressed against suddenly missed. Tang Bao lost his center of gravity and fell backward. Before she could make a sound of panic, a hand reached out from behind and covered her mouth. Ugh! The hand covered her mouth and pulled her back. After it pulled her in, the door was closed. Tang Bao was furious. Bastard who attacked her. Instinctively, she thrust her elbow backward. Suddenly, she heard a man's muffled groan, followed by a suppressed laughter. Can you be gentler? Tang Bao's body suddenly froze. This voice, the hand on her mouth, loosened. Tang Bao turned around and looked at Di Junbai in shock. Brother Junbai, why are you here? Are you here to catch me too? Tang Bao thought of something and her expression changed. Of course not. Tang Bao heaved a sigh of relief. As long as it was not Di Hao Ian who asked him to catch her, everything was fine. We can't stay here for long. Come with me. Di Junbai took her hand and walked away. If Tang Bao did not follow Di Junbai at this time, she would be caught by Di Hao Ian. She definitely could not let Di Hao Ian catch her. She could not let him hurt the child. After entering the house, she naturally had to find a place to hide. If Di Hao Ian was sure that she was hiding in the slums, he would conduct a carpet search, and these residents' houses would definitely be searched. Therefore, she had to hide. The facilities in the house was simple and shabby. After Di Junbai entered, he lifted the carpet beside the sofa and pulled open the floor. There was actually a cellar inside. Come here. Di Junbai tugged on her. What is this place? This is this family's house. No one will know if it's hidden here. With Di Junbai's help, Tang Bao the space below was quite spacious and could accommodate several people. Hide in there and don't move. Don't make a sound. Di Junbai reminded her. Tang Bao understood the meaning of his words and asked, Aren't you going to hide here? If Di Hao Ian finds out that you helped me escape, he will definitely not let you go. Di Junbai had been imprisoned and tortured by Di Hao Ian for a long time. If I hide here, who will cover the carpet outside? Di Junbai comforted her. Don't worry, I have a way to hide from him. Di Junbai came out of the cellar and closed the floor. Suddenly, it was pitch black. Is it very dark now? Di Junbai asked. Although one was in the cellar and the other was above, Di Junbai's voice was so close to her ear. Don't be afraid. You'll be very safe. Yes, I know. Di Junbai covered the carpet and left after making sure that there were no traces of it being moved. Tang Bao, who was hiding in the cellar, heard the footsteps leave. Her heart was pounding wildly. She stood in the darkness and felt the wall with her hands. She pressed her back against the wall and waited quietly for the storm to pass. As long as she survived this crisis, she would be safe. She thought that God would definitely hear her prayers and would not be so cruel to her. A series of messy footsteps came. Tang Bao's body tensed up and she held her breath. The footsteps came in and stepped on the floor. They came from afar and were scattered all over the place. It was not hard to imagine that the bodyguards were searching for her at this moment. Young master, there is no one. Di Hao Ian stood in the room that was dozens of square meters. His sharp eyes scanned every corner. They were so sharp that they seemed to have the power to penetrate. He began to walk around. Tang Bao was very familiar with the steady footsteps. When the footsteps came closer and closer to the sofa and even stepped on the floor above her head, Tang Bao was so frightened that she immediately covered her mouth. If she did not cover her mouth, she would have screamed in fear. Would Di Haoyan notice her? Would he notice the carpet? Would he lift the carpet? Di Haoyan looked around. The carpet under his feet made him narrow his eyes slightly. His high-end black leather shoes stepped on it quietly. At this moment, He-ju walked over. "Young master, Di Junbai wants to see you." Di Haoyan looked up coldly. Di Junbai walked over. "Brother, what is going on with Tang Bao? Even if the child is not yours, I hope you can let her go. Who are you to say whether I let her go or not?" Di Haoyan's face was cold. "I know I don't have the right, but I used to be friends with her. Naturally, I don't want to see her get hurt," Di Junbai said frankly. "Do you mean you want to fight against me?" Di Haoyan looked at him coldly. "You and I are brothers. I don't want to fight with you. But brother, can't you let her go? She is just a weak girl. Even if she did something wrong, she shouldn't be tortured by you." "Di Junbai, you have crossed the line." Di Haoyan's eyes flashed fiercely. "Don't think that I won't kill you. Even if you want to kill me, for the sake of the Tang Bao, I will say the same thing," Di Junbai said fearlessly. Di Haoyan's cold face had a cruel smile. "If that's the case, if you can't find her, you will pay with your life." After saying that, he pressed a gun against Di Junbai's forehead. Di Junbai closed his eyes. "Even if you shoot, I won't regret what I said." The more Di Junbai acted like this, the more it meant that he had bad intentions toward Tang Bao. Di Haoyan's chest burned with anger, especially when he thought of Di Junbai and Tang Bao's betrayal. The veins on the back of his hand bulged, and his face was gloomy. "Then I will fulfill your wish." Tang Bao was at the bottom of the hall, so he understood clearly what was being said and what might happen. Di Haoyan was going to shoot Di Junbai? How could he? That was his cousin. How could he do such a thing? However, when he thought of Di Haoyan's ruthlessness, Tang Bao was afraid. She couldn't let anything happen to Di Junbai because of her. Chapter 650. The slight vibration caused a crack to appear in the tense atmosphere that was about to explode. It also made the person who was about to push the floor to stop and withdraw his hand. The vibration came from Di Haoyan. He took out the phone with one hand and answered without looking at the caller ID. It was Di Lingyue's voice. "Haoyan, what's going on with the Tang Bao? Why did she go to the harbor when she's pregnant? Don't you worry about her?" "The harbor? Are you sure?" "I'm sure it's her. She's wearing a beige maternity dress. Isn't she?" "Give me the exact location," Di Haoyan said as he put away his gun coldly and left the slum. For him, finding the Tang Bao was more important than anything else. Di Junbai glanced at the carpet and followed him out. When Di Haoyan was about to get into the car, he ordered He-ju, "The people here continue to stay here and block every exit." "Isn't the young mistress not here?" He-ju asked. "I don't believe anyone's words." "Yes." He-ju understood. Di Haoyan left this place. If what Di Lingyue said was true, he would go and catch the Tang Bao. If it was false, he would just beat the Tang Bao at his own game and let the Tang Bao who was hiding here let down his guard and come out. He-ju felt that even if Di Haoyan lost his memory, he was still very sensitive in this aspect. Therefore, He-ju believed that the Tang Bao was here. Di Lingyue's phone call was most likely fake information. However, if the Tang Bao was really here and the slum was blocked everywhere, even if Di Haoyan wasn't here, she couldn't escape. But where was the Tang Bao hiding? He-ju walked into the alley and looked around. He tried to find the traces of the Tang Bao. Then he went to the shabby house where he searched before. As soon as they entered, they saw Tang Bao poking his head out of the cellar. Tang Bao stared at He-ju in a daze, almost scared out of his wits. He-ju pulled her out of the cellar. Tang Bao asked, "Are you here to help me?" He-ju did not answer her. He thought of something and asked, "Does Di Junbai know that you are here?" "He helped me." No wonder he appeared so timely. He-ju pondered. Di Lingyue must be Di Junbai's plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. However, Di Haoyan had neglected the fact that he would also be helping the Tang Bao. "Didn't you guys leave?" Is Di Hao Yin still here? Tang Bao asked nervously. The young emperor isn't here, but whether he is or not, you won't be able to escape by yourself. I will send the bodyguard away at the west exit. 2 minutes later, you go there. After you get out, head north. There are no surveillance cameras there. Now that Di Hao Yin had lost his memory, he had to do this. He did not want to make Di Hao Yin suffer when he regained his memory. Okay. Diju walked towards the west alley and said to one of the bodyguards, "Go and buy a pack of cigarettes for me." Yes. The bodyguard did not suspect anything else and left. Diju said to the other bodyguard, "I will watch over here. You go to the east alley. There is a higher chance of getting in and out there. Zhang Chao and I will be here." Zhang Chao went out to buy cigarettes just now. Of course, the bodyguard did not suspect Diju. Diju followed Di Hao Yin's orders. They followed Diju's orders. It had always been like this. Without thinking, he went to the east alley. 2 minutes later, Tang Bao stealthily walked towards the intersection. He peeked his head out worriedly. "I'm the only one here," Diju said. Tang Bao walked towards the north without looking back. His heart was beating wildly. Not long after he walked, a car stopped by the side. The car window rolled down, revealing Di Junbai's handsome face. Tang Bao did not dare to delay and immediately got into the car. The car sped away. "Brother Junbai, you haven't left yet? I can't just leave you in the cellar and not care about you, right? Since I saved you, I definitely want to help you until the end." Tang Bao did not say anything. She had heard the conversation between him and Di Hao Yin clearly in the cellar room. When she was under the influence of the aphrodisiac and was locked up with Di Junbai, he deliberately cut himself to make it look like he had violated her. She could not understand it at all. Even when he explained later that he only wanted to test Di Hao Yin's feelings for her, she still found it unbelievable. But now she was puzzled. Was Di Junbai really willing to risk his life for her happiness? "You escaped. Why aren't you saying anything? You don't look happy." Di Junbai noticed her expression and asked, "Do you really think that I have escaped? Until now, I haven't even touched the borders of D City. The entire D City seems to be very big, but under Di Hao Yin's power, it is similar to the slums. He blocked every intersection, and I still can't move an inch." Tang Bao looked out of the window at the scenery that kept moving backwards. She felt that it was like taking one step at a time. How long could she walk? She was very worried. "I will help you. Don't worry." Di Junbai reassured her. Tang Bao looked at Di Junbai's side profile, who was focused on driving, and nodded with a smile. But in his heart, he was really not that relaxed. When Di Lingwei saw Di Hao Yin getting out of the car, he hurried forward. "Hao Yin, I'm sorry. I lost her." "You lost it." Di Hao Yin looked at him coldly, without any change in his expression. "Yes. If you had come earlier, you would have seen her." "Where did you see her?" "I saw her at the entrance of that shop." In the blink of an eye, she disappeared again. Di Lingwei pointed at the women's clothing shop behind him. Di Hao Yin looked into the distance with his sharp eyes and ordered the bodyguards beside him. "Go and check if there are surveillance cameras in that shop." Yes. The two bodyguards immediately went to check. Not long after, they came back and reported, "Young master, we checked the surveillance cameras in that shop. There is indeed a woman in beige maternity clothes, but it is not young madam. It seems that second uncle's eyesight is not very good." Di Hao Yin narrowed his eyes and said. Di Lingwei smiled awkwardly. "Find that person," Di Hao Yin ordered. Di Lingwei was still calm at the beginning, but now he could not remain calm. He could only suppress the panic in his heart and said, "Hao Yin, why do you have to find an unfamiliar woman? It's not Tang Bao. I must have seen wrongly. It's also a sin to imagine that she is like that." Di Hao Yin got into the car. The car drove back. Di Lingwei stood there stiffly for a long time and did not come back to his senses. Di Hao Yin actually wanted to find the woman in the surveillance camera. Wouldn't it be bad if he did? It was normal to mistake the color of clothes that were similar, but that woman was a fake pregnant woman that he found. If Di Hao Yin found that person, wouldn't he be in trouble? With Di Hao Yin's power, who couldn't he find in the capital? Chapter 651. On the way back, Di Hao Ian called Hiju. Did you see her? No. Di Hao Ian hung up the phone coldly. His eyes were dark. The car stopped in the slums. Di Hao Ian looked out of the car window into the distance. There were bodyguards stationed at regular intervals. Even a fly would not be able to escape, let alone Tang Bao. Or was he mistaken? Was she not here at all? Di Hao Ian thought of something and immediately got out of the car. He returned to the dilapidated house from before. He saw the carpet again. Why did he feel that there was something wrong with the carpet? Why would such a dilapidated house need a carpet? However, just as he was feeling puzzled, Di Junbai appeared and interrupted his train of thought. Di Hao Ian stepped on the carpet with his high-end black leather shoes. He kicked the carpet and the floor below was exposed. Di Hao Ian's eyes were dark. He pulled the floor open and there was a cellar inside. Di Hao Ian went down to the cellar, but there was nothing inside. Could he have guessed wrongly? Was she not here at all? Di Hao Ian came up and asked Hiju again. He looked at him with his sharp black eyes. I'll ask you again. Did you really not see her? Hiju nodded slightly and said firmly, I don't dare to lie to you, young master. Everyone at the entrance and exit has been carefully checked. There is no trace of young madam. Di Hao Ian stared at Hiju for a moment before retracting his terrifying gaze. In just a moment, it was enough to make one's legs go weak. Hiju did not feel good either. He tried his best to stay calm and not expose himself in front of Di Hao Ian. It was extremely difficult. Even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you have to find her, Di Hao Ian ordered. Otherwise, you won't want to know what I'm capable of. Hiju was slightly stunned. He immediately replied, yes. The place where Tang Bao lived belonged to the suburbs, and it was in a residential building. There were no surveillance cameras here, and it was even convenient for her to escape. Di Junbai had helped her find a good place. Tang Bao stood at the window and looked down. It was only on the first floor, so she could not see far, but she was still entranced by the view. Di Junbai saw that she was in a daze. He approached her and stood behind her. What are you thinking about? Can I stay here until the baby is born? Tang Bao asked. The look in Di Junbai's eyes changed slightly. Do you think Di Hao Ian will let go of the child? Tang Bao did not say anything. She hoped that Di Hao Ian would believe her. When I heard that Di Hao Ian wanted to take you back, I also found out about something else. What's the matter? Tang Bao turned around and looked at Di Junbai. Di Hao Ian is going to divorce you. You? What did you say? Tang Bao's heart suddenly contracted and she felt pain. He has already asked a lawyer to deal with it. I didn't want to tell you at first. My aunt said that my brother will marry Lan Wanru after the divorce. Tang Bao stared at Di Junbai in front of her in a daze. Her blood ran cold, as if everything around her had become an illusion. Di Hao Ian was going to divorce her after seeing the paternity test and finding out that the child was not his. He was so desperate to catch her. Did he want her to divorce him and punish her and the child? If you don't believe me, I can show you my brother's divorce agreement when the time comes. I don't want to see it. Tang Bao shook her head violently. She was so weak. She turned around and leaned against the window. She felt that if she did not support herself like this, she would slide to the ground. Did Di Junbai have to lie to her? What good would it do him to lie to her? She was not doubting whether Di Junbai meant what he said. She was more concerned about how much she meant to Di Hao Ian. Was she worth Di Hao Ian sacrificing his entire life for a woman he did not love? She felt her shoulders sink slightly. Di Junbai's hand landed gently on her shoulders and comforted her. If that's the case, you can't go back to him. You can go back to him and divorce him, but at the same time, you won't be able to keep your child. Brother Junbai, do you believe that the child in my stomach is not Di Hao Ian's? Tang Bao asked. I only believe in you. Tang Bao looked into the distance. Her eyes trembled as if they were pierced by the light. However, she shook off the tears that streaked across her fair face. If Di Hao Ian didn't lose his memory, none of this would have happened, right? At least, he wouldn't abandon his child. Tang Bao said sadly. I promise you that I'll let you give birth to the child here. We'll think about what happens next. Thank you. Di Junbai smiled slightly with a touch of helplessness. Ever since you married my brother, Every time I do something for you, you'll say thank you. You're making it sound like I was very impolite in the past. Tang Bao did not want to admit her past. Okay, then I'm wrong, Di Junbai said obediently. Di Hao Yan's men were all sent out to search every corner of the city for traces of Tang Bao. On the other hand, they also had to check the surveillance cameras on every section of the road. On this day, the Transportation Bureau had never been so busy because they had to find the wife of the king of the city. This was more serious than anything else. Even the police station was mobilized. They wore casual clothes and secretly searched. However, even after searching like this, they still couldn't find any trace of Tang Bao. He Ju returned to tea in the middle of the night. Di Hao Yan did not return to the castle. He sat alone in the spacious and quiet office. His whole body was hidden in the darkness. No one could see his emotions, let alone know what he was thinking. However, the atmosphere in the air was so oppressive that it made one uncomfortable to be in a vacuum. He Ju knocked on the door and went in. Young master, you haven't found her yet? Yes. Young madam seems to have disappeared from the world. Disappeared from the world? Di Hao Yan was half in the light and half in the dark. His voice was like a ghost. Disappeared from the world in my hands? That's impossible. Young master, do you believe that young madam is still in the city? Di Hao Yan, who was lazing in his chair, moved slightly. Then he stood up. His tall figure forced the air to retreat. She's in the city. If we still can't find her in the city, there's only one possibility. Someone is secretly helping her. Di Hao Yan walked directly in front of Yi Ju. His black eyes were as sharp as an eagle's as Yi Ju looked directly at him. Who do you think this person is? Young master, are you suspecting me? Yi Ju lowered his gaze slightly. Is it you? Di Hao Yan asked in a faint voice that did not seem to be human. I won't betray you, young master. I swear on my life. Di Hao Yan coldly retracted his gaze and looked away. I've lost my memories of the past. I don't know many things and many people well enough. If I find out that you're doing something behind my back, I won't let you off. Chapter 652. Di Hao Yan's warning was absolutely fatal. Yes, He Ju had never betrayed Di Hao Yan. He had secretly let the Tang Bao go because of Di Hao Yan. It was not a betrayal. Have you found the woman in the surveillance camera? Di Hao Yan asked in a deep voice. Yes, it's a fake pregnant woman. Di Linghua paid for her to confuse you. Di Hao Yan was not surprised at all. He ordered, don't alert them. From now on, you don't have to look for the Tang Bao. Leave it to Zhang Chao. Your task now is to keep an eye on Di Linghua and his son. Yes, He Ju answered. He thought that when the Tang Bao was hiding in the cellar, it was Di Junbai who helped him. Then, after he sent the Tang Bao out of the slums, did he continue to stay with Di Junbai? He knew Di Lingua's character very well. He wanted Di Hao Yan to die. Then, Di Junbai should be safe, right? In the past, the Tang Bao and Di Junbai had a good relationship. This time, Di Junbai tried his best to help the Tang Bao. He should not hurt the Tang Bao. With his help, He Ju did not have to worry about the Tang Bao being alone. But, just in case, even if Di Hao Yan did not suspect Di Linghua and his son, he would still send people to keep an eye on them. Now, that Di Hao Yan asked him to keep an eye on them, he was more than happy to do so. But after keeping an eye on them for a while, he found that Di Linghua did not go out at all. Occasionally, he would go out to drink tea or eat with people he knew in the business world. As for Di Junbai, he was even easier to keep an eye on. Every day, he either came to tea or stayed at home. He did not go to any suspicious places. After reporting to Di Hao Yan about the surveillance over the past few days, He Ju turned around and left the office to continue his surveillance. Not long after He Ju left, the phone on Di Hao Yan's desk was still busy. He picked up the phone and answered. Did you hear that? I heard him. What he was said is true. Di Linghua and Di Junbai didn't go to any suspicious places these days. Keep a close eye on him. Yes. Not only did Di Hao Yan send He Ju to keep an eye on Di Linghua and his son, he even sent someone else. It was obvious that he didn't trust anyone and was tying each other down so that they wouldn't have any loopholes to exploit. In the bungalow. Have you found him? Yu Songhwan asked Danny Wong, who had just entered. I went out to ask around, but young madam still hasn't been found. The young master hasn't given up either and is still looking for her. Forget it, I'll go to the castle. After Yu Songhwan's car arrived at the castle, he entered the hall and asked Lien, Di Hao Ian should be in the castle, right? In the study room. Yu Songhwan walked to the door of the study room and knocked on it. As soon as he entered, he smelled the scent of smoke. Di Hao Ian sat on the sofa and leaned back lazily. His hand was hanging by the side, holding a cigarette between his fingers and letting it burn out. There was even a layer of ash on the floor. Yu Songhwan was stunned by this scene. Are you in a bad mood? Di Hao Ian didn't say anything. Let's not look for the Tang Bao anymore. She's already gone. I don't think she'll dare to come back, Yu Songhwan said. I heard something recently. Since you're here, I might as well ask you. Di Hao Ian put out the cigarette with his fingers and threw the cigarette, but to the side. His hand wasn't injured and wasn't burnt. Yu Songhwan sat down on the sofa and asked, What's the matter? Previously, the Tang Bao was pregnant with a child, but later she had a miscarriage. Is this true? Di Hao Ian asked. A pair of sharp black eyes looked coldly at Yu Songhwan. Yu Songhwan's expression changed slightly with a trace of imperceptible panic, but he tried his best to hide it. Yes, she had a miscarriage. How did it happen? Wasn't it because she took medicine to prevent the miscarriage? You may not remember, but I remember it clearly. She probably didn't want the child. You mean because it's my child, she doesn't want it? Now that she's not pregnant with my child, she'll give birth to it? Di Hao Ian asked expressionlessly. I didn't expect her to think that way, but it's not far from the truth. Didn't she run away with a guilty conscience after the paternity test came out? Why do you have to worry about a woman like her? You could choose any woman you want. Why did he choose the Tang Bao? She really couldn't see any good points about her. Di Hao Ian's aura was very cold, so cold that it turned the large study room into an ice cellar. His black eyes looked straight ahead without saying a word. Yu Songhwan still wanted to persuade him earnestly. Hao Ian, I'm your biological mother. Don't tell me that everything I say and do is for your own good. You just have to remember that I won't harm you. Take this opportunity to divorce the Tang Bao. I've said it before. Even if we get a divorce, you have to wait until I recover my memory. Di Hao Ian turned around and looked at Yu Songhwan with his sharp black eyes. Why are you in such a hurry? I'm just afraid that she'll hold you back. She's really not suitable to be a woman of the Di family. She betrayed you again. She's really detestable. Don't talk about this anymore. Hao Ian, you go back first. Di Hao Ian interrupted her forcefully. Yu Songhwan was stunned for a moment, but then he endured it with an ugly expression. I'm not here for anything else. I just hope that you don't go through so much trouble to find a Tang Bao. If you let her stay by your side, she will only hurt you until you are covered in cuts and bruises. After Yu Songhwan finished speaking, Di Hao Ian's expression didn't change at all. It was as if he didn't hear a second person talking in the study room. It was obvious that he wasn't going to speak again. Yu Songhwan suppressed his anger and stood up. Have a good rest. With that, he turned and left the study room. Di Hao Ian took out a cigarette and lit it again. He leaned his head back on the sofa, his black eyes deep and sharp. At night, Wan Malay was about to turn off the TV and go to bed after taking a shower when she heard a knock on the door. Who was looking for her at this time? The landlord? Wan Malay looked through the peephole. It was actually a few muscular men in casual clothes. What was going on? Did she offend anyone? They didn't look like they came with good intentions. Should she make a sound? But the lights were still on. Wasn't it too silly and naive to pretend that there was no one in the house? Who are you looking for? Wan Malay asked. We're the police. Please open the door. Outside the peephole, the leader of the men held up a document. Wan Malay looked carefully. Were they really the police? Wan Malay opened the door and looked at the men outside warily. She asked, Why are you policemen dressed like this? We're looking for someone. With that, the men in casual clothes enter the house. Wan Malay didn't even have time to stop them. She watched as they searched her house, inside and out. Who were they looking for? I'm not harboring criminals. I live here alone, Juan Malay said. Chapter 653. The small rental house was quickly searched. The leader took out a photo and asked Juan Malay. Juan Malay was dumbfounded. I've seen her before. Where did you see him? The man in the lead immediately seemed to see hope. She's my boss. It was such a coincidence that she found this place. That's not right. What's going on? Wasn't she staying in the young master's castle to take care of the baby? Why is she missing? What happened? Why are the police looking for her? Juan Malay didn't believe that Tang Bao had committed any crime that the police wanted to secretly arrest her. Even if she was guilty, Di Haoyan was already powerful enough. Who would dare to arrest his wife? The police thought that they really knew each other because Di Haoyan's wife had indeed disappeared while pregnant. She really didn't come to seek refuge with you? Let me tell you, even if you're her subordinate, if the young master finds out that you're hiding her, you'll be in big trouble, the police reminded her. Do I look like I'm hiding her? Juan Malay was anxious. The police didn't look like it and said, since you didn't hide her, please inform us immediately if the young master's wife turns to seek refuge with you. As he spoke, he handed Juan Malay a business card. Juan Malay looked at the business card in her hand in a daze. When she looked up, the plainclothes police officers had already left and were nowhere to be seen. If I really saw the Tang Bao, I wouldn't have called you. Wouldn't I have looked for He Ju? That's not right. If the Tang Bao was missing, why didn't He Ju tell her? What's going on with the Tang Bao? What happened? She even said that she would visit her this week. Juan Malay quickly took out her phone and called He Ju. As soon as he picked up, she asked anxiously, what's going on with the Tang Bao? She's missing, right? Why didn't you tell me? He Ju was silent for a second and said, I was going to tell you, but it's good that you know now. She ran away. Ran away? Why did she run? Does the young master want to harm her? Juan Malay could only think of this possibility. Other than Di Haoyan, who else could make her so scared? Because of a paternity test. Paternity test? What do you mean? Yu Songhuan secretly forced Tang Bao to do a paternity test. The results of the paternity test prove that the child has nothing to do with the young master. Nonsense, right? That child is the young master's. How could there be a problem? Juan Malay couldn't believe it. The only explanation is that someone tampered with the paternity test. Yu Songhuan, it can't be her. No matter how much she dislikes Tang Bao, she won't do anything to her own grandson. He Ju was sure of this. Moreover, she was carrying twins in her stomach. Yu Songhuan would never bear to do that. Even if someone instigated it, she wouldn't frame him like that. Who could it be? It can't be the young master, right? No. Now is not the time to investigate this. We need to find the person. It's very dangerous for Tang Bao to be outside with a pregnant stomach. How long have you been looking for her? How long has Tang Bao been missing? Jiu Tian hasn't found her yet. Where is she hiding? Seriously, it's fine if you don't tell me about this. Why didn't you call me to ask if I saw Tang Bao? If she really wanted to escape, she wouldn't have looked for you. Tang Bao doesn't have any relatives. I'm her only friend. Where can she hide? Juan Malay was extremely anxious. Don't worry. What do you mean by don't worry? Don't worry about Tang Bao escaping, or don't worry about whether she will be caught by the young master. If Tang Bao is caught by the young master, will she and the child be in danger? Juan Malay asked. I'm not sure. He Ju didn't hide her inner thoughts. The young master doesn't really believe that the paternity test is real, right? I'm not sure yet. What's going on with you? Can't you tell that you were by the young master's side? He Ju didn't even say that he was now the target of suspicion. If the young master only caught her because of his suspicions, then it's better for Tang Bao not to go back. It's safer outside than by the young master's side, right? He Ju, if you catch Tang Bao, can you let her go? He Ju didn't say anything. Tang Bao must be very scared if she ran away like this. Juan Malay hoped that He Ju would be biased. I have something to do here. Let's talk later. He Ju hung up the phone after saying that. Juan Malay thought, He Ju didn't reject her directly? In the past, if she said anything, He Ju wouldn't hesitate. If he didn't want to, he would directly reject her. Now, was he prepared to be biased? This was naturally very good. However, When she thought of Tang Bao, who was hiding somewhere at this moment, she felt anxious. Where is she hiding? Was she safe? Could she take care of herself? Why didn't she tell her that she ran away? Even if it was to let her be mentally prepared, it would have been good. Wan Marai took out her phone and called Tang Bao again with the intention of giving a try. It actually got through. Wan Malay was excited. However, no one picked up the phone even after he called once. So, she called again. This time, the phone was picked up. Tang Bao, where are you? You scum. Why didn't you tell me that you ran away? It's better to have someone to help you than to run away alone, right? Isn't this too dangerous? Tell me now, where are you? I'll secretly look for you. I definitely won't let the young master know. Wan Malay said excitedly. I already know. Di Hao Ian's low and cold voice came through. Wan Milai was so scared that the blood drained from her face. Why, young emperor? Young master, the child in Tang Bao's stomach is definitely yours. You must believe her. You're the only one in her heart. She will never betray you. I'm her good friend. I know everything. There must be something wrong with that paternity test. Di Hao Qian didn't say anything. He hung up the phone with a cold face. The page was on the call record. Then, Di Hao Qian's slightly narrowed gaze stopped on a string of unmarked numbers. He had already checked this number. He thought that Tang Bao's escape was a coincidence. After all, she had been preparing for it. From the beginning, he knew that things weren't that simple. Unable to find Tang Bao, it was as if the entire imperial city was gloomy and made people feel nervous. Especially those big companies and the turmoil in the business world. It was as if they were in danger of collapsing at any time. Even those who were implicated in this matter were trembling with fear. Lan Wanru was one of them. Her call to Tang Bao was traceable. She thought that the phone would definitely be taken away by Tang Bao, right? Would it fall into Di Hao Ian's hands? Chapter 654. She was the one who facilitated the Tang Bao's escape. Lan Wanru had been on tenterhooks recently. Miss, you should be happy. Why do you look so down? Now that the Tang Bao is gone, no one will threaten your position in the future, Belle said. Lan Wanru looked at Belle. Belle had served her for so many years, so she knew her best. Belle was a maid who had no self-awareness and indulged in wild fantasies. Although she served her well, it was also to enter the castle, right? Of course, it was not a bad thing to have such a servant girl. However, when she was in trouble, she had to find someone to help her. In the distance, Di Junbai came back. Lan Wanru thought for a moment and stood up. Brother. Di Junbai stopped and walked toward her. Don't stay in the sun. Take care of your body. I'm fine. I just came out for a while. Did you just come back from tea? You seem to be back quite early. I'm going out to eat with a client later. I came back to change my clothes. What's wrong? What's the matter? Lan Wanru hesitated and asked, Brother, is Brother Hao Ian still looking for the Tang Bao? He's still looking, but he hasn't found him yet. That's strange. Where could she have escaped to? Could she have escaped from D City? I think that even if she escaped from D City, there must be someone secretly helping her, right? Otherwise, it would be difficult for her to escape alone. Di Junbai smiled. You don't think that the person secretly helping her is me, do you? Why would I? Brother, you're either at tea or at home every day. Even if you wanted to help, you wouldn't have the chance. It's not like you have 3 heads and 6 arms. Although I'm very worried about her and want to find a Tang Bao, I can't do anything in order to not make you suspicious. In fact, I hope that the Tang Bao won't be found. At least it's safer outside than by his side, Di Junbai said sincerely. However, if you want to know anything, you can go to the castle and ask your brother Hao Ian. After that, he turned around and went back into the house. Lan Wanru thought that she also wanted to go to the castle. On the one hand, she could comfort Di Hao Ian. On the other hand, she could check on the situation at any time. But she kept hesitating because of the phone call she had made. Lan Wanru's thoughts turned. He glanced behind him and said, I want to go to the castle. Miss, you should have gone earlier. I don't even know why you didn't take this opportunity to get close to the young master. I didn't even dare to mention it to you. I won't blame you for being so sincere. Lan Wanru purposely chose to go over during dinner time. When they arrived at the castle, they found that Di Hao Yin had not returned yet. The moment he stepped into the castle, he felt a sinister wind blowing and a suffocating pressure. When he let her in, his heart raced and he had to tread carefully. When Zhongli poured tea, the cup fell on a coffee table and made a loud noise. His attitude was very bad. Lan Wanru's expression changed, but he didn't argue with him. Instead, he asked, "When will Brother Hao Yin come back?" "Miss Lan, we are just servants. When will the young master come back?" "How can we say anything? We just need to wait in the castle and serve him," Zhongli said indifferently. Lan Wanru choked, and her heart was twisted with anger. However, she didn't come here to quarrel. "It's okay. I'll wait here then." Lan Wanru was easy to talk to and didn't argue with him. Zhongli didn't say a word and turned to leave. Lan Wanru waited until 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. She waited until her stomach was empty, but no one came to call her to eat. "Is it enough?" "Not enough." Zhongli blocked in front of Lian and didn't let him go to the hall. This was what happened. Lian wanted to ask Lan Wanru if he wanted to have dinner, but Zhongli didn't let him go. They were entangled outside the hall for several hours. Lian directly pulled Zhongli and pulled him to the side. "Hey, you." Zhongli's face was purple with anger. She could only watch as Lian walked into the hall. Lian walked in front of Lan Wanru and said, "Miss Lan, you've waited for the young master for so long. You must be hungry. There's no food in the kitchen now. I'll get someone to make it for you. Is that okay?" Lan Wanru thought to herself, "Why didn't you ask earlier?" Now, he had to make something else for her. She couldn't come here like she usually did. She could do whatever she wanted without any scruples. She came here carefully, and he dared to ask the kitchen to make food for her. "No need, I'm not hungry." Lan Wanru could only say so. "I don't know if the young master will be back at this time." "Miss Lan, do you want to go back or prepare a room for you?" Lian asked. "No need. I'll sit here and wait for the young master." Lian didn't say anything else and went down. Because of the distance, Zhongli didn't hear clearly. When Lian came over, he hurriedly asked, "Do you want to make food for her?" "No need." When Lan Wanru came, Lian saw that her expression wasn't normal. It was as if she was worried about something. Moreover, even if Lan Wanru wasn't worried about anything at this time, Tang Bao was missing and Di Hao Yin's anger was on the verge of erupting. The entire castle seemed to be filled with fear and danger. Who would dare to be presumptuous here? He went over to ask, but it was just for show. After all, he was the manager of the castle, and everything should be taken care of. He had already expected Lan Wanru's rejection. Lan Wanru wasn't a brainless person. Fortunately, she didn't say that she wanted the kitchen to make food for her. At least she knows what's good for her. Zhongli spat in the direction of the hall. When Di Hao Yin came back and entered the hall, the air was in danger of being invaded. Lan Wanru had never slept so late. He was already forcing himself to stay awake. When he saw Di Hao Yin come back, he immediately stood up and greeted him. "Brother Hao Yin, you're back? Is tea very busy?" "What's the matter?" Di Hao Yin's expression was cold. It wasn't winter outside, but his body was cold. I have something to tell you." "Say it." Di Hao Yin unbuttoned his cufflinks and asked faintly. "On the day you went to the bungalow, Belle called Tang Bao. She took my phone and called, and I didn't know it all. After I asked her, she told me the truth. She turned on the speakerphone, and Tang Bao heard everything you said to Annie that day. I think she must have run away because Tang Bao heard it." Lan Wanru paused and paid attention to Di Hao Yin's expression. "Brother Hao Yin, I'm sorry. Please forgive her, and forgive me." Di Hao Yin's whole body was cold, and he didn't restrain himself because of Lan Wanru's apology. His black eyes looked coldly at Lan Wanru. "Are you done?" Lan Wanru's heart sank. His face was pale, and he was stunned. "Don't come to the castle if you don't have anything to say." Di Hao Yin finished speaking and left the hall. Chapter 655. Did Di Hao Yin believe her or not? She had already explained everything, hadn't she? Why was he so cold to her? He even told her not to come to the castle if she had nothing to do. Why? Lan Wanru couldn't accept it. Before she came here, she had already prepared for the worst, but it wasn't as bad as it was now. She wasn't afraid of anything else, but she was afraid of Di Hao Ian's indifference to her. Tang Bao wasn't here. Did she still not have a chance? No, what was Tang Bao? The child in Tang Bao's belly wasn't even Di Hao Ian's. Therefore, Lan Wanru felt that Di Hao Ian was angry because of Tang Bao's betrayal. That was why Di Hao Ian was so cold. She was implicated by Tang Bao. Although Lan Wanru was a little sad, she didn't regret it. If the phone wasn't with Di Hao Ian, it would be fine. But if it was with him, she would definitely come to explain. This was called being prepared for nothing. Miss Lan, should I ask someone to send you back? Lian, who had seen everything, walked over with a calm expression. He only asked if she wanted to send her back. He didn't say if she wanted to stay here. It was obvious that there was no need. No need. I have a car. Lan Wanru had been humiliated enough in the eyes of these servants today. She turned around and left. She swore that when she replaced Tang Bao, she would make them all scram, especially Zhongli. Tang Bao had been staying in the place Di Junbai had been looking for half a month. The maid was called by Di Junbai. She was mute. This was good. She didn't have to worry about gossiping and telling others about her staying here. After all, it was always strange for a pregnant woman to stay here. Therefore, it was very quiet. Did this calmness mean that the storm had passed? Did Di Hao Ian let her go? Did he give up? She really hoped that Di Hao Ian wouldn't look for her anymore. Just take it as giving her a way out. It was also a way for his child to survive. Almost a month later, the Di Hao Ian people finally found the area where the Tang Bao was located. This was already very fast. If there weren't so many bodyguards and plainclothes policemen, it would have taken a lot of effort to search the city carefully and at the same time to speed up the search. It was already good enough that they found this suburb. However, he still couldn't find it. In a residential area not far away, someone knocked on the door of the first floor. "We are the police." The bodyguard in black held up a document. Almost every one of Di Hao Ian's bodyguards had an identification card. It was to make it easier to find people and save unnecessary time. It was a woman who opened the door. "What's the matter?" "There was a recent murder case. We suspect that the culprit is hiding nearby, so we need to search every house carefully. I hope you can cooperate." "Oh, okay." The woman opened the door as wide as she could and let them in to search. No one would refuse such a search, nor would they dare to. After all, they were the police. However, after the police left empty-handed, the woman immediately made a phone call. "They've already found us." "Got it." Tang Bao was eating at home when the phone rang. The maid couldn't answer it because she couldn't speak. Tang Bao put down his bowl and chopsticks and went to answer the phone. The only person who could call here was Di Junbai. Ever since she came here, Di Junbai hadn't appeared again. He only called occasionally. When the phone was picked up, Di Junbai's voice came through. "Do you know the secret room I told you about?" "What's wrong?" "My brother's people have already searched the neighborhood next door. You will live in the secret room from today onwards." "He is still looking." Tang Bao was still guessing that Di Hao Ian might have given up on such a peaceful life. She didn't expect that. It would make her heart tense up and ache. "Well, wait a little longer. He won't stop until he finishes searching the city. Don't go out until the child is born," Di Junbai said. "I know." Tang Bao's gaze fell slightly. "Have you eaten?" "I'm eating." "Go to the secret room if you're done eating," Di Junbai said. "Okay, there's no hurry. It should be an hour before I receive it. Watch the time." After Tang Bao hung up the phone, she was a little stunned. After a while, she quickly went to eat. After eating, she turned around and went to the secret room. The door of the secret room was very hidden. There was a painting hanging outside. Even if she lifted the painting, she wouldn't be able to see the door. The door and the wall were already mixed together. The secret room could only fit a bed and a set of table and chairs. It wasn't very big. However, it was good enough for hiding. There were a few books beside the pillow. Tang Bao knew that Di Junbai prepared these books for her because he was afraid that she would be bored here. Di Junbai must have expected that Di Hao Ian's men would search this place. After Tang Bao entered the secret room, she didn't go out. She even slept there at night. After it was safe, the maid knocked on the wall. Tang Bao went to bed around 8 o'clock. Not long after she fell asleep, She was still in a daze when she was woken up by the noise outside. She got out of bed and pressed her ear against the wall. She heard the conversation outside. "Are you mute?" The mute servant nodded. "Have you seen this woman with a big belly?" The plainclothed police officer took out the photo and asked. The mute servant shook her head. "You live here alone?" The mute servant nodded again. The plainclothed police officer looked around and found that the things used here were indeed single occupancy. There was only one room. There was only one pair of slippers. He didn't find anything suspicious. The plainclothed police officer's gaze fell on the portrait on the wall, but in the end, he didn't find anything wrong. He turned around and left with his men. Anyway, Tang Bao had told the maid before she entered the secret room that even if those people searched and left, she would still stay in the secret room tonight. She was really careful. She felt that in such a short time, she was already so scared that she was breaking out in a cold sweat. Zhang Chao returned to the castle. Di Haoyan was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window in the hall. The sky was already dark outside, and the glass window reflected a dark and tall figure. His eyes were dark and sharp, exuding an otherworldly temperature. Zhang Chao walked behind him and nodded. "Young master, we haven't found her yet." Then continue to search. Di Haoyan's voice was terrifyingly cold. "Young master, could young madam have already left the city? After all, not every place in the city has surveillance cameras. There's a chance to escape the city. She doesn't have to take a plane or a train." Before Zhang Chao could finish his words, he was stunned speechless by Di Haoyan's hawk-like black eyes. "I said continue to search. Don't you understand?" Di Haoyan's black eyes were frighteningly cold. "Yes." Zhang Chao lowered his head and left the hall. Chapter 656. Ever since the Tang Bao left, the atmosphere in the castle hadn't been relaxed. Di Haoyan turned around and faced the floor-to-ceiling window. His face was cold and tense. Where is she? She wanted to escape with his child. Did she ask for his permission? Di Haoyan's dark eyes suddenly darkened. He punched the glass window, making a loud noise. The maid not far away was scared. Her whole body trembled, her legs went soft, and she knelt on the ground. When he knelt down, his face turned even paler. "Get lost!" Di Haoyan growled without turning his head. The maid's legs trembled, and she left the scary place. Another half a month had passed. Di Haoyan couldn't find anyone. He Ju kept an eye on Di Lingyue and his son, but there was no result. The people searching for the Tang Bao were all scared. They had searched from inside to outside the city, but there was no trace of the Tang Bao. However, the more they couldn't find him, the more scared they were. They wouldn't be like this even if they killed someone. In the past half a month, Wan Malay didn't have a good time. She couldn't wait to call He Ju every day to ask if they had found the Tang Bao, but she was also afraid that she would find the Tang Bao. She kept telling He Ju that even if they saw the Tang Bao, they must let her go. Wan Malay went to Yu Lianlian's office. "Vice President Yu, did the Tang Bao call you?" "No." Yu Lianlian already knew from Wan Malay. To be exact, before Wan Malay told her, she already knew from Zhou Zhishan. She just didn't tell Wan Malay because she was afraid that she would be worried. Now, she couldn't wait to ask her every day if the Tang Bao called her. "If she called me, I would definitely tell you," Yu Lianlian said. "Then do you think something will happen to her? She's outside alone?" "No, she will. She cares so much about the child in her belly. Nothing will happen to her." She answered this question yesterday. She didn't mind saying it again today. "Then, do you think the child will be fine in the end, but she won't be?" "Don't scare yourself." Yu Lianlian face-palmed. "But she's about to give birth. No one is by her side. Who will help her? How do you know no one helped her? These days, as long as you have money, there will definitely be people willing to lend you a helping hand." Wan Malay thought, that should be the case, right? He Ju said that Tang Bao had a backpack full of money. Wan Malay thought of another terrifying possibility and asked, "Tang Bao is carrying so much money. Will he be targeted?" Yu Lianlian was speechless. "I don't think Tang Bao is the kind of person who is stupid enough to suffer losses, right? Not in the past, but ever since I met the young master, I realized that she has always been at a disadvantage, Juan Malay said slowly. It's normal to be at a disadvantage in front of the young emperor. Worried about Tang Bao and the child in her stomach, the atmosphere in the entire castle was in a terrifying state. Everyone knew that Tang Bao was about to give birth, but they hadn't found her yet. Giving birth to a child was such an important and dangerous matter. Anyone could be absent, but how could the child's father be present? However, since Tang Bao hadn't been found yet, Di Haotian had no choice but to order his bodyguards to pay attention to all the hospitals in D City, including other cities. As long as Tang Bao was discharged from the hospital, he would be able to find out. Everyone could feel Di Haotian's terrible temper. Tang Bao sat by the window and leaned on the windowsill, looking at the scenery not far away. After Di Junbai walked in, Tang Bao didn't notice. It could be seen that she didn't care about the scenery outside. She was in a daze. Tang Bao. Tang Bao was stunned for a moment. He turned around and saw Di Junbai, who had appeared behind him at some point. Brother Junbai, you're here. Tang Bao hadn't seen Di Junbai for 2 months since he came here. Didn't anyone follow you? Previously, Di Junbai had told her that Di Haotian's people were watching him. In that case, was it fine? It's fine. I shook them off. Of course, Di Junbai knew that he was being watched. Even if he didn't see anything suspicious behind him, he could imagine it. After all, Di Haotian was not easy to deal with. If he wasn't careful, he would be discovered. Oh, that's good. Tang Bao heaved a sigh of relief. However, to be able to shake off Di Haotian's people was also a skill. I came to look for you because I have something to tell you. Di Junbai sat down on the chair next to her and said, What is it? Di Junbai looked at her stomach and said, Your stomach has grown a lot bigger. Is your due date coming soon? There are still about 10 days left. Don't be nervous. I'll arrange everything. Di Junbai reassured her. Tang Bao nodded. Recently, she had indeed been very nervous, especially at night. She could even wake up in the middle of the night. Di Junbai asked, Do you want to have a natural birth or a cesarean section? A natural birth will be painful. I hope you choose a cesarean section. She didn't even know if she should have a natural birth or a cesarean section. Tang Bao remembered that at that time. She had asked Di Haotian this question. She even said that she wanted a natural birth to be good for the child. Di Haotian said forcefully that she wanted a cesarean section. Tang Bao. Di Junbai saw that Tang Bao was in a daze and called out to her. Tang Bao came back to her senses. I'll have a cesarean section. She clearly wanted a natural birth, and the words natural birth were also in her mind. Why did it turn out to be another answer when she said it? Then prepare for a cesarean section. What I want to say today is that whether it's a natural birth or a cesarean section, it will be carried out here. What? Here. Tang Bao was shocked. Don't be afraid. I'll make sure that the surgery conditions here are the same as those in the hospital. There won't be any problems. Di Junbai comforted her. Tang Bao was still stunned. Why did she feel like she had returned to the old times? She found a midwife and gave birth at home. She felt a little scared. Could this place really have the same conditions as the hospital? Tang Bao, you can't go to the hospital now. You can only give birth here. Don't you believe me? If you go to the hospital, my brother will find you immediately. He hasn't withdrawn his inescapable net. He's just waiting for you to appear. Di Junbai patiently analyzed to her. I'm not afraid of anything else. I'm just worried that there will be problems with the child, Tang Bao said worriedly. The doctor will do a prenatal examination for you. If there are no problems, the cesarean section will be carried out. If you agree, I'll ask the doctor to come over in the next 2 days. Was there any other way for Tang Bao? Not at all. From the moment she escaped from Di Haotian, her options were limited. Di Junbai did not personally look for a doctor. He always asked someone to do it for him. He only needed to make a call and contact the doctor. Tang Bao's room was vacated and used as a temporary examination room and operating theater. After the examination, the child was very healthy and there were no problems. The equipment needed for the surgery was prepared. On the day of the cesarean section, Tang Bao was very scared. Chapter 657. Her fingers gripped the white bed sheets tightly, turning white and transparent from the force. Di Junbai grabbed her hand and stared at her. Tang Bao, look in my eyes. Tang Bao was trembling all over. Even the way she looked at Di Junbai was trembling. Her forehead was covered in a thin layer of sweat from nervousness. Nothing's wrong. I'll stay here with you. No, you go out. Do you mind? Di Junbai asked. Of course I mind. She didn't want Di Junbai to be here. However, even though Tang Bao thought so in her heart, she said something else. I heard that it's unlucky for a man to enter the delivery room. Brother Junbai, I've already troubled you a lot. Don't make me feel burdened, okay? The doctor said that they'll administer anesthetics and it won't hurt. She'll be fine soon. At this time, the doctor also suggested, Sir, you'd better go out. There's no antibacterial suit here to prevent bacterial infection during the surgery. For the sake of Tang Bao's health, Di Junbai had a compromise. Before he went out, he said to the doctor solemnly and seriously, She's very important to me. There can't be any accidents. Don't worry, the pregnant woman and the child are very healthy. There won't be any problems. Tang Bao lay on the operating table. She looked up in a daze. She tried not to be nervous. However, she couldn't do it. The key was that the doctor said that it was regional anesthesia, not general anesthesia. She was awake the entire time. After the anesthetic was administered, Tang Bao lost feeling in her lower body. Not long after, she felt like her stomach was being pulled, but she didn't feel any discomfort. It was as if she was touching someone else. However, in her heart, Tang Bao's fear was so clear. She was helpless and afraid. She closed her eyes and tears fell from the corners of her eyes. However, she didn't dare to cry for fear of affecting the doctor's surgery. Why couldn't Di Hao Ian accompany her? Why did he let her give birth alone in the operating room? Di Hao Ian, where are you? Do you really not care about my life or death? The child is yours. I've never betrayed you. At this moment, Di Hao Ian was sitting in his office. He rested his head on his hand and closed his eyes. He was resting and even falling asleep. All of a sudden, as if he had sensed something, he abruptly opened his eyes. His black pupils were sharp and nervous. When he looked up, the office was silent. No one dared to disturb him. Di Hao Ian narrowed his eyes and held the crystal wolf dog pendant in his other hand. His palms were warm from the heat. Di Hao Ian looked at the little wolf dog pendant in a daze. At the same time, his heart felt unusually uncomfortable, causing his dark eyebrows to furrow. The doctor came out of the room. Di Junbai immediately walked over and asked, How is it? Mother and children are safe. That's good. Thank you for your hard work. Di Junbai thanked her and then asked, Is it a boy or a girl? 2 boys. Di Junbai said nothing. Tang Bao was already lying on the bed. Her 2 sons were in the small bed next to the bed. They slept there softly. She had finally given birth to them safely. Tang Bao's eyes were filled with tears, and then they fell. Di Junbai saw her crying when he entered the room. You should be happy that the children were born. I've asked the doctor. The children are healthy. Tang Bao couldn't help but smile with tears in her eyes and said, I know. Then she looked at the 2 children and frowned. They look a little ugly. Di Junbai laughed. Newborns are all like this. They'll be fine in a few days. Tang Bao looked at her 2 sons. Even if they were ugly in the future, she would still love them. Tang Bao looked at her sons wholeheartedly and didn't notice that Di Junbai's silent eyes were not smiling. Di Junbai had just driven home when the feeling of being stared at came again. He got out of the car with a normal expression and entered the house as if nothing had happened. Di Hao Ian really didn't give up. If it were an ordinary person who spent so much manpower and resources to find Tang Bao, they would definitely go bankrupt. However, Di Hao Ian didn't care. So much money didn't affect him at all. Di Junbai didn't leave until the next day. He was ready to go to tea for work. Not long after the car drove out, a person stood in front of it. The car was stopped. Di Junbai sat in the car for a few seconds. Then, he opened the door and got out of the car. It's you. Di, what's the matter? Di Junbai asked. Di didn't beat around the bush. I know where you went yesterday. Although I don't know the exact location, you want to see Tang Bao. Tang Bao? Didn't she run away? How did I see her? Di Junbai didn't understand. You don't have to hide it. Even if I know where Tang Bao is, I won't tell young Master Di. I just want to know how she is now. Has the child been born safely? Hiju knew what Di Junbai did in the slums. After helping Tang Bao leave the slums, he thought that Tang Bao would run away on his own. He didn't expect Di Junbai to still be involved. He didn't know if he was sincere about helping Tang Bao or if he had other motives. Hiju, I'm really sorry. I don't know where Tang Bao is. If I knew, I would definitely tell you. Di Junbai smiled gently. If there's nothing else, I'm going to tea. Even if you're a leader, it's not good to be late. After saying that, he turned around and got into the car. Hiju stood by the roadside and watched Di Junbai's car slide past him. He followed Di Junbai and lost him for a period of time. To be honest, he had never failed to follow someone. This was his first time. He lost him for a few hours. Was this Di Junbai's gentleness just on the surface, or was there a side that had never been revealed? About a week later, Tang Bao got out of bed and walked around. On the fourth day, she had already gotten out of bed. However, now she didn't need anyone to wait on her when she got out of bed. Tang Bao walked around the room, then walked to the side of the crib and looked at the baby sleeping together. His skin was fair and tender, and his little mouth even moved when he slept. It was very cute. It had been a week, and the baby's face was no longer as wrinkled as when he was just born. Tang Bao's gaze fell on her brother's little face, making her a little absent-minded. Although he was still young, his facial features were actually similar to Di Haoyan's. In this way, if she carried the child to Di Haoyan, would he still suspect that this was not his son? Therefore, there was no need to do a paternity test at all. Tang Bao didn't plan to leave forever. She only wanted to give birth to the children safely, then return to Di Haoyan's side and let him believe that these two children were his. Tang Bao also didn't want the two babies to be born without a father. She wanted to give them a complete family. The phone outside rang. The maid came over and gave her some simple sign language, indicating that she should answer the phone. Tang Bao went to answer the phone. It was Di Junbai calling. How are the children? Chapter 658. There are nurses around. You don't have to work too hard, Di Junbai said. He was the one who arranged for the nurses, so there shouldn't be any problems. I didn't do anything. It won't be hard. That's good. Tang Bao hesitated for a moment and asked, 1 month of confinement should be enough, right? What's wrong? You seem to be in a hurry. The doctor said that you're recovering well, but more rest will only be beneficial. I want to go back to the castle. After Tang Bao finished speaking, she felt Di Junbai's silence and hurriedly said, I want to give the babies a complete family. As long as Di Haoyan sees the babies, he will believe that they are his children. Even if he once doubted you and forced you into a corner, it's normal for him to have such a reaction, and I only ran away because I was too anxious. As long as the misunderstanding is resolved, nothing will happen, Tang Bao said. She was still thinking about how Di Haoyan cared for her when she was pregnant. He wasn't too heartless to her, was he? He cared about his children. As for her, it didn't matter if Di Haoyan cared about her or not. She only wanted the two babies to be well. That was enough. You've already made up your mind? Di Junbai asked. Yes, I want to go back. Okay, after your confinement, you can go back. Di Junbai agreed. Thank you, Brother Junbai. In the bungalow, Yu Songhuan was also depressed. Looking at the beautiful scenery outside, he couldn't feel happy. Old madam, it's time for lunch. Annie Wang had come over to call for lunch more than once, but Yu Songhuan had no appetite. Say, there's still no news from Tang Bao. Is the baby in her stomach already born? The due date has already passed. She must have already given birth. How good would it be if it was Hao Yan's child? Old madam, don't feel sad. Young master will definitely have his own children in the future. As long as he wants, he can have as many as he wants. Yu Songhuan smiled helplessly. Look at him. Does he look like he wants to have a child? She's been looking for the Tang Bao all day long. She just won't give up. I don't think it's because he's unwilling to give up, but because there's a knot in his heart. After all, now that I know that the child is not mine, I have to find Tang Bao and ask him about it, Aunt Wang said. Yu Song-hwan was furious when he heard this. What's there to understand? The truth was often cruel. It's not the first time that Tang Bao betrayed him. The more you ask, the more embarrassed you'll be. Although young Master D controls the entire T group and is invincible in the business world, he has never been in a relationship before. There is nothing he can do about it. Yu Song-hwan had nothing to say. It was true that Di Hao-ian had never been in contact with other women since he was young. In his world, there was only tea, power, and ambition. This is my fault. Yu Song-hwan sighed. How can you blame the old madam? No one would have expected something like this to happen. I just find it strange. How did Tang Bao escape from Hao-ian's sphere of influence? Where did she get such great ability? Yu Song-hwan couldn't understand. How is Hao-ian now? I'm talking about his mood. You can't tell from the young Master D's appearance, but I heard that young Master D has been living in T and rarely returns to the castle. The entire T group is gloomy and scary. They also said that young Master D lost his temper during the meeting yesterday. I don't know who said the wrong thing. What did they say wrong? They said that young Madam might be involved in Kuchen's company. Then, young Master D directly threw the teacup in front of him. That executive fainted on the spot and was covered in blood. What? Yu Song-hwan was shocked. It's true. Don't those higher-ups know what's going on? Why did they mention Tang Bao during the meeting? A bunch of idiots. That's right. Young Master D hasn't found young Madam, so he must be in a bad mood. Yu Song-hwan was really annoyed. How long would it take for this mess to end? Could it be that the Tang Bao wouldn't be found and it would continue like this? She really didn't know what Di Hao-ian couldn't figure out. That executive was called Wang Xian. He was in his 40s and was still lying in the hospital, but he was in a bad mood. His wife had tried to persuade him countless times, because Wang Xian wanted to be discharged. Can't you bear with it? Is your brain supposed to be messed with? What if something happens? What if? It's just here that I got smashed and bled a little. I won't die. Wang Xian said angrily as he poked his forehead with his finger. Fortunately, he didn't poke the gauze, so he was still rational. However, Wang Xian was a senior executive in T Group, so his status was naturally not low. This was the first time something like this happened. How could he lie in the hospital bed peacefully? But the doctor didn't say you could leave. His wife was really anxious. The hospital wants to earn money. They can't wait for me to stay here for a month. Wife. Just as Wang Xian was about to get out of bed, Di Lingwe walked in. I say, brother, what's going on? Why are you so angry in hospital? Wang Hai followed behind Di Lingwe. He was carrying a fruit basket and placed it on the table. COD, why are you here? You're still calling me COD? I'm no longer a member of T Group. Di Lingwe didn't mind mentioning his shameful past, but he was very generous. I heard that you were hospitalized, so I came to take a look. How is it? What did the doctor say? Is he okay? Wang Xian's wife said, he's fine, but the doctor said that he needs to stay in the hospital for observation. But he's stubborn and doesn't want to stay. Brother, that's where you're wrong. Your health is the capital of a revolution. You can't underestimate it. After all, you're not in your 20s or 30s anymore. You can squander as much as you want. You should be careful, Di Lingwe said. Yes. I was too impulsive. Wang Xian's wife saw that the ward was quiet. She knew that the men couldn't talk to her here, so she said, I'll go back and get you something to eat. The hospital can't be compared to the hygiene at home. After Wang Xian's wife left, Di Lingwe said, what happened? Why did young Master D hit you in the meeting room? Wang Xian was embarrassed. You might feel embarrassed in front of others, but you don't have to worry about this in front of me. What Di Lingwe meant was that he was directly removed from T by Di Hao-ian. This embarrassment was known by everyone in the business world. It's because I said something wrong in the meeting. I mentioned Kuchen's CEO Tang and said that his company is a burden. I said that it's better to acquire it directly. Anyway, that CEO Tang doesn't have any leadership skills. Di Lingwe couldn't help but laugh. You really dare to say that? Chapter 659. Wang Xian was furious. Hey, don't talk nonsense. Di Hao Ian looked like he was asking him to stop talking, but he was actually very happy. Wang Xian immediately remembered that Di Lingwei was Di Hao Ian's second uncle, so he quickly changed his words. Elder Di, just pretend that I didn't say anything. I'm not talking bad about young Master Di. It's normal for heroes to fall for the charms of beautiful women. What's the rush? What you said is the truth, right? Elder Di, I think he went overboard. He's your uncle after all. How can he be so cold-blooded? Wang Xian felt bad for Di Lingwei. Forget it. We're family anyway. I don't feel that bad. Di Lingwei said that, but his expression was different. I heard that President Tang went missing. Young Master Di couldn't find her after a long time. I think I was just implicated. If I have a chance, I won't stay in tea anymore. Di Lingwei didn't say anything, but he had other thoughts in his mind. He came over just to test the waters. It was just as he thought. No one could stay calm after being humiliated in public. How could someone like Di Hao Ian be in charge of tea? He was really willing to give up his empire for a woman. However, this was exactly what he wanted. When Di Lingwei returned home, Di Junbai was actually there. You're not in tea? My brother won't care if I'm here or not, Di Junbai said. That's true. His heart is on the missing Tang Bao now. Di Lingwei sat down and said, I want to see Wang Xian today. He was really angry. When I went, he was complaining about being discharged. He deserved it. What benefits can he get by going against my brother? Will he still be treated well in tea after he's discharged? Maybe he'll be able to leave tea soon. Unless what? Di Lingwei was distracted by his words. Unless T has a new leader, then he will have a chance to continue serving. Di Junbai looked into the distance. However, unless my brother dies, how can we change the leader? Then, do you want to be the leader of T? Di Lingwei asked. If you want to, I can pave the way for you. Di Junbai placed the cup on the coffee table and said indifferently, I'm not interested. Di Lingwei wasn't surprised by Di Lingwei's answer. It was like this in the past. He was smart, but he had no ambition. That was useless. While Di Hao Ian was distracted by his search for Tang Bao, he could use this opportunity to snatch tea away. After all, he had been chased out of tea and had nothing left. What was there to be afraid of? Di Lingwei thought of something and asked, You really don't know where Tang Bao is? I don't know, Di Junbai said. Don't hide it from me. If it wasn't for your help, how could Tang Bao hide under Di Hao Ian's nose for so long? Di Lingwei didn't say that once when he passed by Di Junbai's room, Di Junbai was talking on the phone. The door wasn't closed, and he heard Di Junbai talking on the phone with Tang Bao. He didn't ask, but it didn't mean that he didn't know. Di Junbai heard Di Lingwei's words. Nothing happened, and his face darkened. You don't have to worry about what I will say to Di Hao Ian. I only feel happy when he can't find Tang Bao. Di Lingwei hated Di Hao Ian for a long time. You know where Tang Bao is. What do you want to do to her? Di Junbai asked. If a man wants to be successful, he shouldn't care about relationships. Di Lingwei pointed out seriously. I don't have the ambition to be the leader of tea. It doesn't matter if I have relationships. Tang Bao is pregnant with Di Hao Ian's child. She must have given birth to it by now, right? You want a woman like her? Di Junbai rubbed his temples. I don't want to talk about this. Then he stood up and left. Di Lingwei looked at Di Junbai's back, and his face was very ugly. In order to hide Tang Bao, he even hid it from his father. If he didn't eavesdrop on their conversation last time, he would also be kept in the dark. He definitely couldn't let Di Junbai be destroyed by Tang Bao. Although she was a young woman, she was very capable. Di Hao Ian was fooled. Di Junbai was young and vigorous. How could he escape? No, he had to deal with Tang Bao. At night, when Di Junbai went to take a shower, he entered his room. He took Di Junbai's phone and looked at the call records. But there was no suspicious number in it. Di Lingwei suddenly thought of the phone Di Junbai called that day. It didn't seem to be this phone. That's right. If Di Junbai used his usual number, Di Hao Ian would be able to find out the problem. And he wouldn't be unable to find Tang Bao until now. Finally, Di Lingwei found the phone at the bottom of Di Junbai's drawer. It was not a smartphone. It showed how cautious Di Junbai was. He opened the phone. Sure enough, there was only one number in it. Di Lingwei recorded the number. He put the phone aside and left Di Junbai's room silently. Di Junbai didn't find anything wrong when he came out of the shower. 2 days later, Di Lingwei found the location of that number. It was a very secretive apartment in a very ordinary neighborhood. But D City was so big. Tang Bao was hiding here. If he had Di Junbai's help, it would be difficult to find him. Di Lingwen knocked on the door. The mute maid opened the door. "Does Tang Bao live here?" Di Lingwen asked. The maid didn't know Tang Bao's name. She shook her head. Even if she knew, she wouldn't say it. This was what Di Junbai, who had arranged for her to come here, had instructed her. Tang Bao, who was playing with the babies inside, was shocked. She was familiar with Di Lingyue's voice. Why was Di Lingwei here? Just as she was about to close the door, Di Lingwei barged in without permission. The maid didn't notice him. She didn't expect him to barge in like this. She didn't stop him either. Di Lingwei saw Tang Bao immediately. Tang Bao didn't have time to hide. She stood there stunned. "Even if you don't let me in, I know you're here. Brother Junbai told you?" Tang Bao asked. "Do I need him to tell me?" I peeked at the call history in his phone and found this place according to the number. Tang Bao didn't expect Di Lingwei to find this place. Then, would he tell Di Haoyan? She didn't have to worry even if he told her. Anyway, the babies were already born. Di Lingwei didn't look at Tang Bao's expression. Instead, he looked at the two babies in the crib who looked different. Their eyes were big and black. When they saw someone coming over, they looked over with their big eyes. Chapter 660. He didn't need to do a DNA test to know that it was Di Haoyan's child. Tang Bao moved his body forward to block Di Lingyue's view. He was also trying to prevent Di Lingwei from hurting the child. "Looks like the child has been born safely," Di Lingwei said sarcastically. "I'm not afraid, even if Di Haoyan knows that I'm here," Tang Bao said coldly. "You don't have to be afraid. Di Haoyan won't look for you anyway." Tang Bao was stunned. He didn't seem to understand what he meant. "You don't understand? If I can find you here, why can't Di Haoyan find you? In fact, he already knows that you're here. He just doesn't want to expose you. Do you think I'll believe you? You don't believe me? If I could check Di Junbai's phone, why can't Di Haoyan find it? You're too naive. So, why should I tell Di Haoyan where you're hiding? It's just unnecessary." Di Lingwei sneered. "Do you know why he didn't bring you back when he knew you were here? Because he'll marry Wanru. Do you really think you're something? That's my business. It has nothing to do with you." Tang Bao didn't give him any face. "Of course it has something to do with the Di family. This child is Haoyan's. He definitely won't want you, but he definitely wants this child. I think he must be thinking of a long-term plan to take the child back. Tell me, am I right?" Di Lingwei saw Tang Bao looking down and didn't know what he was thinking. He sneered and then hid his purpose. "If you want me to help you, I can consider it. You help me? How?" Tang Bao asked curiously. "I help you keep the child, and you help me get my shares back. I've been chased out by Haoyan. Those shares belong to me. I don't think my request is too much, right?" Di Lingwei said matter-of-factly. "Help you get your shares back? Don't you think too highly of me? Or do you think Di Haoyan is so gullible?" Tang Bao asked. "All you have to do is threaten him with the child." Di Lingwei pointed at the baby who looked like Di Haoyan. "He will definitely give up his shares for his child." Tang Bao pondered for a moment and said, "When you say that you're going to help me keep my children, you mean you're going to save one. It's already good enough to save one. When the time comes, just say that the other child died. I will help you fool Di Haoyan. Otherwise, he will take away both children, and you won't be able to get any." Tang Bao cursed Di Lingyue's 18 generations of ancestors in his heart. "You are the one who died prematurely. Your whole family is dead. How dare you curse my baby? You're courting death. I'm very sorry, but I won't work with you. You'd better give up. Don't worry, you'll agree. When Di Haoyan comes again, you'll come and beg me." Di Lingwei left the apartment with a determined look. After the door was closed, Tang Bao's face was still cold. Did he think she was stupid? This old fox was the most untrustworthy person around Di Haoyan. She was going to use her own baby to threaten Di Haoyan? Even if Di Haoyan wanted to take back her baby and she wanted to resist, she wouldn't use this method. In fact, what Di Lingwei wanted was more than the shares he lost. He wanted the whole tea. With the child in his hands, he wouldn't be afraid that Di Haoyin wouldn't give up the control of tea. But what should he do if Tang Bao wasn't willing? He had to find a way to make her agree. However, this matter could not be done by him alone. He needed someone else to help him. Find Di Junbai? No. Di Junbai liked Tang Bao. He definitely wouldn't agree to this. Di Lingwei suddenly thought of Wang Xian, who was hit on the head by Di Haoyin in the meeting room recently. Wang Xian hated Di Haoyin to the core now. He couldn't wait for someone to replace Di Haoyin. It was best to have such an ally. So he called Wang Xian. If someone can replace Di Haoyin, there's a chance for you to cooperate. Are you willing? Are you serious? Wang Xian's voice was very excited. Of course. What idea do you have? You have to know that I'm not willing to try without a 100% success rate. After all, if I fail, I'll have nothing. Wang Xian said cautiously. Because I have something to restrain Di Haoyin. What? Wang Xian asked. Seeing that Di Lingwei was silent, he said, Is it inconvenient for you to say it? If you don't say it, how do I know if you can succeed? 2 people's plan is better than 1 person's, right? Kuchin's Tang Bao, Di Haoyin's woman. Didn't Di Haoyin hit your head because of this woman? Do you really know where President Tang is? But young Master Di has been looking for her for more than 2 months, and there's still no news of her. How did you find her? Of course I have my ways. Also, as long as I succeed, I'll replace Di Haoyin and the position of vice president will be yours. What do you think? Vice president of T. This was more attractive than being the vice president. Okay, I agree. What do you want me to do? First of all, bring some people here tonight at 8 p.m. You'll pretend to be Di Haoyin's man and negotiate with Tang Bao. What's the condition? Hand over the child's custody obediently and give her 3 days. Di Lingwei had already thought it through. Okay, I'll prepare a few tight-lipped people tonight and go over. After Di Lingwei hung up the phone, he was very confident that Tang Bao would be forced to cooperate with him. If he didn't put on an act, how would she believe what he said and agree? After Wang Xian hung up the phone, he immediately dialed another number. Young Master Di, President Tang has been found. After receiving the call, Di Haoyin's face was cold and tense. He left the office directly. His footsteps were like the wind, and his aura was intimidating. His dark eyes were gloomy as he left T. After hanging up the phone, his wife, who was standing next to him, couldn't see through Wang Xian's sincerity. She asked disapprovingly, He hit your head like this, but you're still thinking for young Master Di? Once there's news, you'll tell me immediately. What do you know? Why wouldn't I know? Wang Xian's wife was unhappy. My head being smashed was just an act. Look, didn't someone come to our door and reveal the whereabouts of President Ku Chuntang? Wang Xian said proudly. What? This was actually an act? Then how did young Master Di know that someone would come? Who is young Master Di? Who can guess his logic and thoughts? He wanted to help Di Lingwei. If he could really resist young Master Di, would he be in this state now? I'd be stupid to rebel. Chapter 661. Then, he found the apartment and knocked on the door. The person who opened the door was still the mute maid. Hiju didn't even ask and went straight in. The poor mute maid was very depressed. Why did the people who came today like to barge in? Hiju. Tang Bao looked at the person who came in and was stunned. You're really here? Hiju looked at Tang Bao's flat stomach and asked, You've given birth to the child? They're sleeping. Tang Bao brought him to see the child. Hiju was stunned when he saw the sleeping child, because he also saw the child who looked very similar to Di Haoyin. No one would believe that it wasn't Di Haoyin's child. You can go back now, Hiju said. I'll call the young master. No, Tang Bao refused. Why? Hiju frowned. I want to call him personally and tell him where I am. Tang Bao had escaped for more than 2 months. She didn't know what would happen if she saw Di Haoyin again. The affairs of the world were unpredictable, not to mention the unfathomable Di Haoyin. That was why she told Di Junbai that she wanted to wait for a month. Di Junbai hid you here, right? He said with certainty. Yes, if it wasn't for her, I might have been caught by him before the child was born. Why did Di Lingwei come here? Did he know that you were here all this time? He asked suspiciously. No, he came here because he checked Di Junbai's phone number. Di Hao Ian didn't check Di Junbai's phone records? The young master doesn't believe me. There are some things that he won't tell me. Tang Bao thought to himself that Di Haoqian wouldn't let He Jun know that he wanted to take the child away. But I think he probably didn't find out. Otherwise, he would have captured you long ago. Tang Bao thought so too. But why couldn't Di Haoqian find anything? Was there something she hadn't thought of? Not long after He Ju left, Di Junbai came in a hurry. As soon as she entered the house, she helped Tang Bao pack his things. Even Tang Bao was shocked by him. Brother Junbai, what's wrong? Di Haoqian is coming. How did he know I was here? Tang Bao was surprised. Did my father come here before? He left about 10 minutes ago. Di Haoqian followed second uncle here? That must be it. Come with me, or we'll be too late. Tang Bao was neither anxious nor panicked. He stood there motionless. Di Junbai saw this and asked, You don't want to leave? Anyway, I'm going back. The baby is Di Haoqian's. What else does he want? She had given birth to the child to clear her name, didn't she? Do you think it's that simple? Di Junbai slowly walked towards Tang Bao. I'm sorry, I can't watch you get hurt. Looking at Di Junbai's strange expression, Tang Bao frowned and was about to say, I will. Di Junbai hit Tang Bao on the back of his neck. Tang Bao's vision turned black and he fainted. Di Haoqian led his men to surround the entire neighborhood. The others followed him to the apartment where Tang Bao was. After breaking the door open, they were a step too late. The building was already empty. In the room, there was a crib and a used diaper. Di Haoqian's face was frighteningly gloomy. He clutched the crib so hard that the veins on the back of his hand were terrifying and hideous. The crib creaked as it could not bear the strain. How did the child come to be? All the big and small hospitals were under control. How did she do it? Di Haoqian looked around the room, and then he found something that made him angry. Scrubs. When Tang Bao woke up, he was already in another place. His first reaction was to hurry to see the baby. When he found that the baby was sleeping next to him, he breathed a sigh of relief. The baby is fine. Di Junbai's voice. Tang Bao turned around and saw Di Junbai standing by her bed. She asked, Why did you knock me out? I told you that I want to go back to Di Haoqian. Did he ask for her permission? In the beginning, following Di Junbai was already a risk. Now that Di Haoqian came looking for her, if she followed Di Junbai again, it would make Di Haoqian extremely angry. The fact that she followed Di Junbai would be easier to expose, wouldn't it? Take a look at this first. Di Junbai handed his phone to her. Tang Bao took the phone in confusion and saw the photo that was taken. In the photo was a divorce agreement. Di Haoqian's signature and red seal were in the bottom right corner. Tang Bao's hand trembled and the phone almost fell to the ground. This is impossible. Does he really want to divorce me? Tang Bao felt as if a knife was twisting in her heart. Even the breath she took was painful. I took a picture of it when my brother wasn't in the office. It's on his desk. If I didn't do this, you might not believe it. Di Junbai looked at Tang Bao's pale face and said, Tang Bao had been to Di Haoqian's office. That was clearly his office. His desk. She knew it so clearly, including the words on the signature. Did he really want to marry Lan Wanru, like Di Lingwei said? He didn't want her anymore? He went through so much trouble to find you. Do you really think that he wants to take you back and treat you well? He wants to divorce you and take the child away. So, you mean that he believes that the child is his? Tang Bao looked up and asked with tears in her eyes. No, what I mean is that he originally wanted to divorce you. If he saw the child, he would know if the child is his. At that time, he would definitely take the child away. For someone of my brother's status, divorce isn't a strange thing. Tang Bao only felt that his head was dizzy and his limbs were weak. It seemed that she could only hide from Di Haoqian and be in a passive state. She could get a divorce, but she had painstakingly given birth to the baby. She could not lose them. Tang Bao looked at the soft and cute baby in the swaddling clothes and her heart ached. It's safe here for the time being, but you can't stay here for long. I'll get someone to pay attention to the movements outside. Tang Bao did not say anything. She was no longer in a mood to say a word. She still hadn't recovered from the shock of the divorce agreement. When she came back to her senses, Di Junbai had already left. At this moment, someone jumped in through the window. Tang Bao was shocked. When she saw who came in, she asked, "You haven't left yet? I'll protect you in the dark." "Don't worry," Hiju said, "until you go back." "Do I still need to go back now?" Tang Bao asked in a low mood. "What do you mean?" Hiju could not figure out why she did not go back. She had said that she would go back. Di Hao Yin went through so much trouble to find me, just to divorce me. Divorce? I've never heard of this. Chapter 662. She was kidnapped. Address. Tang Bao woke up and found herself in the car. Her hands were tied behind her back. Di Lingwei was sitting in front. "You woke up quickly." Di Lingwei sneered. "What do you mean by this?" Tang Bao struggled to sit up from the chair and asked coldly. "Since you don't want to work with me, you can only do it the hard way. What do you want to do?" Di Lingwei was a lunatic. Tang Bao didn't know what he wanted to do. "Don't worry, you just a bait. Aren't you afraid that Di Hao Yin will kill you?" Tang Bao was furious. "Him? Do you think he will kill me for you? Even if he will, I'm the one who wants to kill him, not the other way around. With you in my hands, what am I afraid of?" Di Lingwei sneered. His eyes were filled with madness. Tang Bao was nervous. Di Lingwei was definitely not a brainless young man. There must be a plan waiting for her or for Di Hao Yin. At this moment, Tang Bao hoped that Di Hao Yin wouldn't never appear. However, things didn't go as planned. Wang Hai's voice came from the front. "Second Master, young Master Di is here." Tang Bao panted and looked at the glass window behind the car. Di Hao Yin's car was chasing after them. Tang Bao didn't know if this was a good thing or a bad thing, because Di Lingwei didn't look anxious. Instead, she was more afraid. She just urged Wang Hai. "Speed up." "Yes." Wang Hai immediately sped up. The car rushed forward recklessly. The car drove into the parking lot of a building and entered the underground elevator. After entering the elevator, the moment the door closed, Tang Bao saw Di Hao Yin rushing over. Tang Bao wanted to break free from Di Lingwei's restraint. She wanted to run out of the elevator, but she couldn't. A few months. In just a moment, she met Di Hao Yin's eyes. However, it only lasted for half a second before the elevator door closed. Di Hao Yin's sharp black eyes were reflected in her head, making her feel so uncomfortable that tears kept falling from her eyes. "Don't worry, you'll meet again." Tang Bao calmly looked ahead and said, "Second uncle, I can die for Di Hao Yin. Please stop fighting. He's your nephew, your brother's son. Can you bear to do that? Do you have the heart? Do you think Di Hao Yin won't have the heart to do that to me?" In his eyes, am I still his second uncle? Am I his relative? My shares were taken away by him, just like that. I have nothing now. Who do you want me to ask for it from? In any case, I have nothing left. Now, either he dies or I die. Success or failure depends on this. Nothing? Second aunt, isn't Brother Junbai your family? Have you ever thought about them when you did all this? Di Lingwei was stunned. Then, his face turned ferocious. "Don't try to flatter me. I did all this for Junbai and that family. I didn't want to be suppressed by Di Hao Yin and have to listen to his whims. These few decades have been enough." Di Lingwei's hatred and desire to fight had made him crazy. It was absolutely impossible for him to stop at this time. As long as Di Hao Yin dies, everything he has will be mine. My descendants won't have to be suppressed anymore. You won't have a good ending if you fight for something that doesn't belong to you. Tang Bao said, "Something that doesn't belong to me? That belongs to Di Hao Yin?" Then old Master Di gave the inheritance to Di Hao Yin. Was he forced to do so? Di Lingwei couldn't control the anger in his heart when he mentioned his dead father. He's old and foolish. He didn't want to give it to his own son and wanted to give it to his eldest grandson. Di Mingnan actually became his son's assistant. That's ridiculous. I can only say that old Master Di had a good eye. He knew that his eldest grandson was more talented in ruling, not to mention giving it to someone like you. He's just a piece of trash. Before Tang Bao could finish, Di Lingyue was provoked and slapped him. Slap! He slapped Tang Bao's face. Tang Bao was slapped so hard that his body was pressed against the wall of the elevator. Half of his face was red and swollen. You're right. If I knew that tea was going to be passed to Di Hao Ian, I wouldn't have wasted so much effort to bomb Di Mingnan to death. At this moment, Di Lingyue was not afraid of anything. He dared to say anything. Tang Bao was stunned. He couldn't believe it. What did you say? You were the one who caused that terrorist attack? So what? It's a pity that he was the only one who died. It can only be said that you, Songhuan, was lucky. But it's all your fault. If it wasn't for you, she wouldn't have survived. So, don't feel wrong that I slapped you. Tang Bao had never seen such a crazy person. How could he kill his own brother? If Tang Bao remembered correctly, Di Lingyue and Di Haoyan's father, Di Mingnan, were biological brothers. How important was the interest of a wealthy family to be able to do this? He didn't even have a trace of regret after killing Di Mingnan. He still wanted to kill Di Haoyan? Tang Bao couldn't believe it. He couldn't understand such a twisted mentality. Then I should thank you for showing mercy. Don't thank me. Today is the day you and Di Haoyan die. Tang Bao's heart sank. The elevator opened, and they arrived at the top floor of the building. A helicopter was parked in the middle of the top floor. What kind of equipment was that? Escape? Almost as soon as they reached the top floor, Di Haoyan rushed out from another door and aimed a gun at Di Lingyue. Di Lingyue was shocked. He blocked Tang Bao in front of him. Shoot me. Tang Bao couldn't believe that Di Haoyan reached the top floor at the same time as the elevator. Moreover, there were 30 floors here. Did he run all the way up? Ju caught up from behind. Both of them were breathing heavily. Di Haoyan looked at Di Lingyue coldly and then at Tang Bao's face. Tang Bao's misty eyes were filled with Di Haoyan's figure and everything about him. Di Haoyan. Tang Bao remembered what Di Lingyue said in the elevator. He was still uneasy. He said to Di Haoyan, go back. I don't need you to save me. You don't dare to shoot me, do you? Di Lingyue was certain. Ha ha ha, Di Haoyan, I didn't expect you to have such a day. Let her go and I'll spare your life, Di Haoyan said. His sharp eyes were bloodthirsty. If I let her go, will you spare my life? Do you think I'm naive? I mean what I say. Di Haoyan's voice was cold. Chapter 663. When Di Lingyue pushed Tang Bao towards the helicopter, Di Haoyan rushed forward. Di Lingyue immediately ordered Wang Hai. Stop him. Hence, Wang Hai tried to stop Di Haoyan, but it was like throwing an egg at a rock. At this moment, Di Haoyan was like an angry beast. He rushed forward and pressed the muzzle of the gun against Wang Hai's heart. At the same time, a gunshot was heard. Wang Hai's heart was pierced by the bullet before he could react. The bullets in the gun were fired continuously at the heart until the heart was smashed into pieces. There was not a single bullet left in the gun. He threw the gun away and did not even look at Wang Hai, who was falling down. He rushed towards the helicopter that was taking off. The helicopter had already left the rooftop of the building. Through the window, Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan, who was rushing towards him in horror. Was he crazy? If he did not grab the helicopter and fell. Tang Bao could not believe it. He was so scared that his whole body was trembling. No, Di Haoyan. Tang Bao almost screamed. Ju was also frightened. He chased after Di Haoyan. Young master. However, in the next second, Di Haoyan's shadow followed the helicopter and rushed out of the building. Ah! Tang Bao screamed. He turned his face away and did not dare to look. Then, the helicopter shook. Tang Bao immediately opened his eyes. Was Di Haoyan here? Or, she wanted to find Di Haoyan, but Di Lingyue pushed her hard and she fell to the ground. Don't worry. He has grabbed the helicopter and did not fall. However, so what if he came up? He will still die? Di Lingyue sneered. It was as if everything was within his expectations. What do you mean? When you were unconscious, I placed a body temperature time bomb on you. What did you say? Tang Bao was stunned. Di Lingwe kindly opened her jacket. There was a black box about 5 centimeters in size stuck on her clothes. The time on it was still counting down. A total of 10 minutes. He'll definitely be able to come up in 10 minutes. When that time comes, you guys can just wait to be blown up. Don't even think about taking it off. I've told you that it's a time bomb. It will explode as soon as it leaves your body. Di Lingwe wouldn't dare to fight with Di Haoyan if he wasn't fully prepared. Then you can't run away either. Tang Bao suppressed the fear in his heart and yelled at him. Di Lingwe kindly pulled her jacket up so that she couldn't be seen from the outside. Don't worry. You're carrying a bomb while I'm wearing a parachute. Look at how good I am. Even though you can't live together, you can die together. Shouldn't you be thanking me? Ha ha. You have a vicious heart. I don't think so. When you and Di Haotian die, the tea will be mine. Di Lingwe was in a hurry. Di Haotian quickly entered the cabin. At the same time, Di Lingwe jumped down from the plane. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian, who was just inches away from her. She stared at him blankly without saying a word. Her heart was palpitating with emotions. Di Haoyan just looked at her coldly. His black eyes were so sharp that it was as if he wanted to kill someone. Di Haoyan turned around and walked closer to the pilot. He looked at the pilot, whose hands were shaking, and asked in a low voice, "Can you drive?" Yes. Yes. At this moment, did he still have a choice? If he couldn't drive, he would die. Di Haoyan turned around and looked at Tang Bao. Tang Bao lowered his head. You shouldn't have come up. I really shouldn't have come up. I should really strangle you to death. Di Haoyan said viciously. Tang Bao really wasn't in the mood to talk to him about this now. She was thinking, how many more minutes until the bomb on her body exploded? How long could she and Di Haoyan be together now? Tang Bao lowered her head and was in a daze. Suddenly, her body was lifted and she was carried to the seat by Di Haoyan. Di Haoyan walked over quickly and his black shadow covered her tightly. Di Haoyan, aren't you going to untie me? Tang Bao asked. Di Haoyan's black eyes were slightly stunned. He reached behind her and untied the rope. Tang Bao didn't say anything. She reached out and wrapped her arms around Di Haoyan's neck and pressed her lips against Di Haoyan's thin lips. Di Haoyan's heart skipped a beat. The evil aura around him disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Tang Bao completely fell into Di Haoyan's arms. Tang Bao's lips felt like her heart was hurting, but she didn't back down. Her eyes were hot. She could only close them tightly and immerse herself in everything. Just as she was about to suffocate, she pushed Di Haoyan away and panted. Enough, she said. She was about to get up and leave her seat. She was afraid that Di Haoyan would discover the time bomb on her body. Di Haoyan's eyes turned sharp. He reached out and grabbed her wrist, yanking her over. What are you doing? Tang Bao's body crashed into Di Haoyan's chest. She was so scared that she put her hands between herself and Di Haoyan. Unless you jump off the plane, don't even think about going anywhere, Di Haoyan said domineeringly. I won't jump off the plane. Let go of me. Ugh. Tang Bao wanted to say something, but her lips were blocked by Di Haoyan's hands again. Their bodies tangled together and they fell to the ground. No one could remain calm with a time bomb tied to their body, and the time was still counting down. Tang Bao grabbed something and threw it directly at Di Haoyan's head. Ugh! Di Haoyan groaned. He really didn't expect Tang Bao to hit him at this time. He fainted. Almost as soon as Di Haoyan was tied to the seat, he woke up. When Di Haoyan saw that he was tied up, his face immediately darkened. He was furious. What are you doing? I was afraid that you would break free. Fortunately, there are chains here, so I tied you up. Tang Bao knew that Di Haoyan's strength, so she was afraid that even a rope wouldn't be able to tie him up. Damn it! Why did you tie me up? Are you still thinking of escaping? Di Haoyan's face was extremely dark. His breathing was rough because of his violent emotions. I have a time bomb on me, Tang Bao said calmly. There was no trace of panic on her face. Di Haoyan was shocked and looked at her. Tang Bao took off his jacket in front of her. The time bomb was tied around his waist. There were still 5 minutes left. Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan and asked, Can you dismantle it? Di Hao Ian's breathing was rough, and his face was cold and tense. This was not an ordinary time bomb. It reminded him of the year when his father was attacked by the so-called terrorist. He saw it in the police station where the bomb disposal experts were. No matter which thread was cut, it would explode. Moreover, this was a body temperature time bomb. Once it left the body temperature, it would explode. It's difficult, right? Tang Bao asked. Then, she hid her sadness and smiled faintly. I knew it. Otherwise, Di Linghua wouldn't be so confident that he could kill both of us. Chapter 664. What are you going to do? Either I die, or we die together. There's no third option. Tang Bao looked at the time that was constantly counting down. Then, she raised her head and looked at Di Hao Ian. I don't want both Daddy and Mommy to die after the babies are born. Do you know? Di Hao Ian, after the babies were born, I looked at their cute faces and thought about going back. I want to go back immediately. Even if you don't love me, I don't care as long as you treat them well. Oh, by the way, you might not know. They're sons, both of them. Especially the older brother. He really looks like you. I've never seen such a similar father and son. Tang Bao could not stop her tears from falling when she thought of her children. She was also very reluctant to die, and she was even more reluctant to leave her children. Also, Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Ian's face that was so familiar that it was carved into the depths of her heart. Her vision was clear and blurry and clear. Don't tell me you're going to jump off the plane with a bomb. Di Hao Ian's voice was low and hoarse, as if it was eroded by panic. He struggled to break free from the iron chain on his body, but the iron chain was tightly wrapped around by Tang Bao. If it was a rope, he might have been able to break free, but now Tang Bao did not answer Di Hao Ian. Instead, she recalled the past. At that time, in order to protect me, your car fell off the cliff and you pushed me away. Just take it as, I'm returning it to you today. Di Hao Ian tried to calm his emotions and lowered his voice. Tang Bao, listen to me and untie me. Neither of us will die. I'll take you back to the castle and raise our son. Tang Bao's eyes were hot. She bit her lip, afraid that she would cry out loud. There's no need. Tang Bao tried her best to swallow her grievances into her stomach. She bit her teeth so hard that the tip of her tongue hurt. I've thought it through. What do you mean? Originally, I thought that you fell off the cliff because of me and lost your memories, so I felt guilty and stayed by your side, waiting for you to recover your memories. But I've suffered so much, so I've already done my best for you. Di Hao Ian, I've tried my best. I can't hold on any longer. Not to mention, I don't even love you. The person I truly love is Di Junbai. What did you say? Di Hao Ian's heart sank. But that child is really yours. I didn't want to have it at first, but I was controlled by you, so I couldn't do it. The person I love is Di Junbai. I only want to have children with him. Nonsense. Di Hao Ian roared. His face was ashen as he glared at her. I'm not spouting nonsense. I'm going to die anyway, so why should I lie to you? To be honest, every time you touch me, I feel like killing myself. Do you know that? How painful and disgusting is it to be touched by someone you don't love? I'm really living a life worse than death. Tang Bao said calmly with a frown. It was as if she really couldn't bear to endure until now. Di Hao Ian took a deep breath. Every line on his face was taut. The muscles on his face could be seen twitching. I believe everything you said. I won't hold it against you. Release me first. Di Hao Ian endured the stabbing pain in his heart and said, No man can really let it go. You just want to trick me into releasing you. Tang Bao said in a low voice. I told you to release me. Di Hao Ian roared and kicked the seat in front of him. Tang Bao was so scared that her whole body trembled. The hand of the pilot in front also trembled, and the whole body of the car shook. Fortunately, it immediately stabilized. Tang Bao, listen to me. Release me. Tang Bao shook her head. If death is the only way to escape from you, this is also a good way. She looked down at the timer on the time bomb and said, Di Hao Ian, after I die, if you get married as soon as possible. Don't let the babies know that their mommy is dead. You'd better find a mommy who can treat them as her own. Also, the children are in the penthouse suite in Ha Garden. As she spoke, she looked to the side and looked down. It was a very high distance. The plane brushed past the high-rise building. Di Haoyan shouted to the front, "Land!" The pilot's hands trembled again. Young master, the landing gear is broken." He wanted to land just now, but found that the landing gear had stopped working. Land, even if they fell directly to the ground. Tang Bao's expression changed slightly. Even if the landing gear was broken, the chances of survival were still very high. She approached Di Haoyan. Di Haoyan's face was cold, and his breathing was heavy. Tang Bao didn't say anything. She lowered her head slightly and planted a gentle kiss on his left chest. Even through the shirt, Di Haoyan felt an unusual burning heat. It burned into the depths of his heart, making him gasp unbearably. Tang Bao's tears dripped down and fell on the black shirt, wetting it. Her heart ached so much that it felt like it was being torn apart. When she stabilized her emotions, she raised her head and looked at Di Haoyan affectionately. Her voice was very soft. "Goodbye." "No." Di Haoyan's black eyes were red. The fear in his heart was like a tiger that wanted to rush out of his chest. "I won't allow it. Do you hear me? I won't allow it. If you dare to jump, child, I'll throw them away." Tang Bao didn't say anything. She just chuckled, leaned against the open door, and looked back at Di Haoyan for the last time. "Tang Bao, don't you dare jump." Di Haoyan had just finished speaking when Tang Bao's body fell directly. Di Haoyan's black eyes were so red that they were about to burst. He was in despair because the chains on his body were about to be broken. "No!" The roar of an injured beast was so clear that it was transmitted to her ears along with the drifting wind. Tang Bao's body fell. Tears fell from the corners of her eyes. She closed her eyes and waited for the moment of death. She also used this precious time to think about her child, Di Haoyan, and all the people she cared about. The heartless words she said to Di Haoyan, saying that she didn't love him, that she only cared about Di Junbai, and that Di Haoyan was a disgusting person in her heart. These were all lies. She lied to him. She never felt that a person who was not related to her by blood could be so important to her. He was more important than her own life. From a moment she was forced to get married by Di Haoyan, the moment she lifted her veil and panicked, until now, this was the outcome. She said so many heartless words because she hoped that Di Haoyan would not feel guilty when he regained his memory one day. Even when he thought of her, there was no emotion, only hatred. "Baby, I'm sorry. It's Mommy's fault. Di Haoyan, I'm sorry. I loved you." The water in the harbor was deep blue and vast. Tang Bao's body fell directly into it, splashing a lot of water. Chapter 665. The pilot almost fainted from fright, but he had no choice but to control the plane. In the next second, Di Haoyan destroyed the seat under him. The moment the seat was destroyed, there was a loud explosion. The water in the harbor shot up into the sky. The ground and buildings nearby trembled from the impact. Di Haoyan stared blankly at the explosion and the impact of the water. His face was drained of blood, and he stared blankly. The pilot's trembling hands did not stabilize the plane, and the tail of the plane brushed past a building. The plane lost control and fell straight down. In one of the buildings, the senior management of the company was discussing the construction of a resort. They were stunned by the explosion at the harbor. Then they saw a helicopter falling out of control, with a long trail of black smoke trailing behind it. Not long after, they heard the loud sound of the helicopter falling, but there was no explosion. Gu Linshin turned his head and saw a beautiful figure running toward the elevator through the glass door of the meeting room. Gu Linshin frowned and strode over to open the door. "Where are you going?" "There's a plane falling from the sky." Luo Luoli pointed to the sky. "You're not allowed to go." Gu Linshin's voice was stern. Luo Luoli thought for a while. "I'm going. I'll take a look." Then she turned and ran away quickly. It was a scary thing to see a plane fall from the sky. She had to go and see if anyone was injured. Gu Linshin's face darkened as he followed her. Wasn't she afraid of hurting herself? Why did she have to join in the fun? What an insensible girl. She had spoiled her. It was a shocking thing to see a plane fall from the sky. Fortunately, the plane fell on the beach in the harbor and no one was hurt. However, the boys and girls playing on the beach were scared out of their wits. If the plane had hit them, they would have been flattened. Now that the plane had fallen, many people were watching from afar. Luo Luoli was one of the people in the crowd. She could not see it from afar, so she ran to the plane to take a look. The police had not arrived yet. She wondered if the people inside were okay. Luo Luoli bent down and looked inside. The glass of the plane was shattered, and the people inside could be seen clearly. He was stunned when he saw the slender and muscular face of the man lying on the ground. Even if the blood on his head flowed down his face, she would still recognize him. But how could it be Di Haoyan? It was like a dream. His plane fell from the sky. What happened? When Gu Linshin saw Luo Luoli standing in front of the plane, he walked up to her with a gloomy face and pulled her over. It's dangerous if you don't know. Aren't you afraid that the plane will explode? Luo Luoli pointed inside. Little uncle, it's the young master. Gu Linshin turned around and frowned when he saw the unconscious Di Haoyan. What was going on? Di Haoyan was secretly taken to the hospital. There were no announcements or reports. It was locked down by Gu Linshin. Although he didn't care about Di Haoyan's matters, he knew what Di Haoyan had been doing recently. He had turned the entire Di city upside down in search of the Tang Bao. It was hard not to know, but how did he end up like this? When Di Haoyan was still in the operating theater, Luo Luoli pestered Gu Linshin and asked, "Little uncle, what's wrong with the young master? What happened?" It should have something to do with the disappearance of the Tang Bao. Luo Luoli also knew about the disappearance of the Tang Bao. She also called Wan Malay to ask about it. Wan Malay only found out about it a long time after it happened. Luo Luoli also asked Wan Malay why the Tang Bao ran away from home. Wan Malay only said that it had something to do with Di Haoyan and didn't say anything else. If it has something to do with the disappearance of the Tang Bao, why did the plane crash? Luo Luoli asked, not very understanding. Will the young master be okay? Gu Linshin didn't say anything. His cold eyes looked in the direction of the operating theater. More than an hour later, the doctor came out and walked respectfully to Gu Linshin. Young Master Gu, his life is not in danger. It's just that his head is slightly damaged from the previous surgery, but it's not a big deal. There's also some cracks on his arm. This will heal on its own in a few days. Did he fall? It shouldn't be because there are also traces of strain on his muscles. It seems like he was strangled by something, the doctor said. Gu Linshin thought, who strangled him? That's impossible. Who would dare to strangle him? Unless it was him who strangled himself. In fact, the cracks on Di Haoyan's arm were caused when the Tang Bao violently struggled with the iron chains after jumping off the plane. However, no one knew how desperate he was at that time. After Di Haoyan was moved to the VIP ward, Gu Linshin stood by the bed and looked at Di Haoyan, who was not fatal but was covered in injuries. Luo Luoli hid behind Gu Linshin and stuck her head out to take a look. It was the first time she saw Di Haoyan like this. The man who looked scary every time she saw him. Although he was still scary now, he was unconscious after all. Little uncle, should we inform his family? Luo Luoli asked. No need. Gu Linshin raised his hand and beckoned to the bodyguards outside. From now on, the young master's safety will fall on you. If there's any mistake, I'll take your whole family down with him. Facing the bodyguards who might have their whole families buried with him, Gu Linshin continued to instruct, also spread the news that the young master is missing. Yes, the bodyguards turned and left the ward. Luo Luoli asked in confusion, Little uncle, why did you say that the young master is missing? He must have fought with someone in this state. We don't know who the other party is or whether he's dead or alive. Since he hasn't finished his work, we have to wait for him to wake up. It's not a bad thing to let him go missing for a while. Gu Linshin looked at the unconscious man with a faint gaze. After Gu Linshin forced Luo Luoli to get into the car and sent her off, he returned to the ward again. The moment Gu Linshin entered, He became unusually sharp. Come out. His gaze was sharp. Someone came out. It was Ju. Young Master Gu. What's the situation? Tell me. Gu Linshan pulled a chair and leaned against the table as he asked indifferently. The young madam was kidnapped by Di Lingwei and brought onto the plane. The young master boarded the plane. I didn't go on the plane, so I don't know what happened. But I did see someone jump out of the plane with a parachute. That person looked like a man. If it wasn't the young master, then it was Di Lingwei. But if that's the case, why didn't the young madam appear after the plane crashed? Ju deduced. Gu Linshan's silent gaze suddenly turned to Ju. Ju was shocked by that gaze, but he couldn't help but panic. Before the plane crashed, there was an explosion in the harbor. It wasn't small. Did you hear it? You didn't hear it, but I saw it. Gu Linshan said. Chapter 666. Then where do you think the Tang Bao went? How could she disappear on the plane? Gu Linshan's eyes were deep and sharp. There's only one possibility. The Tang Bao had a bomb on her and jumped off the plane. Ju was shocked. Gu Linshan looked at his expression and stood up. He looked at the unconscious Di Haotian and said, "This is just my guess. It's best not to be so. Even now that he has lost his memory, he can still cause a storm in the city because of the Tang Bao. If the Tang Bao really dies, I'm afraid the city will be in a bloodbath." Ju looked at Di Haotian with a worried expression. He didn't want anything to happen to the Tang Bao. Otherwise, he couldn't imagine what would happen to Di Haotian after he recovered his memory. Yu Songhuan was so scared that her face was as white as a sheet. If Annie Wang hadn't supported her, she would have fallen to the ground. "Old madam, calm down. The young master is only missing. He'll be fine," Annie Wang comforted. "Then what's with the pursuit? Is he okay? Are you sure?" Yu Songhuan only wanted to know this. The plane did crash on the beach at the harbor. The police have also dealt with it. However, the news has been blocked. After all, no one dares to report about the young master. "Old madam, think about it. If something happened to the young master, how can he block the news?" Yu Songhuan heaved a sigh of relief. She sat weakly on the sofa. Her face was pale again. When she heard that Di Haotian's plane had crashed, she almost fainted. Why did the plane crash out of nowhere? Why did he take the plane? Yu Songhuan suddenly thought of something, and her face was angry. "I know. He must have found out where the Tang Bao is and when to find her. I told you, if Haotian wasn't lucky, he would have died in her hands. Why did I let the Tang Bao escape? Why did I give her a choice after the DNA test? I should have punished her without permission and let her die." When Haotian woke up after falling off the cliff, his attitude towards the Tang Bao was cold. "I thought he had gotten over it, but I didn't expect him to have amnesia. Could it be that even if he has amnesia, he still wants the Tang Bao?" Yu Songhuan was heartbroken. How could a little girl like Tang Bao make Di Haotian become like this? She couldn't figure it out no matter how hard she tried. She had always been confident that Di Haotian was rational and able to judge everything. However, the Tang Bao made him lose his sense of propriety. "Old madam, this might be fate. Didn't they say that he would repay what he owed in his previous life in this life? It's all right for old madam to be open-minded. Let's not worry about this matter for now. Finding Haotian is more important." Yu Songhuan was still worried about his safety. "Old madam, I'm wondering if young Master Di went on a trip with young madam like before." Before Aunt Wang could finish her sentence, Yu Songhuan glared at her. "Do you have a brain? How can it be the same now? Going on a trip after the plane crash?" Yu Songhuan's expression was very bad. "I was wrong." Aunt Wang immediately corrected herself. "Send more people out and find Haotian as soon as possible. Even if we can't see him, we have to contact him." "Okay, I'll go now." After Aunt Wang left, Yu Songhuan's heart didn't calm down at all. Instead, it became even worse. She didn't know what the reason was, but she felt uneasy. She thought that Di Haotian would only be unconscious for a short period of time. After all, the doctor said that it was nothing serious. However, 2 or 3 days had passed, and there were still no signs of him waking up. The doctor checked back and forth under high pressure, but there weren't any abnormalities. In the end, the doctor forced the answer to be that it might have something to do with the injury to his head. Luo Luoli ran down the stairs and rushed straight to Gu Linshan. When she was upstairs, she noticed that Gu Linshan's car had returned. "Little uncle, how was it? Did you find a tang bao?" "No." Gu Linshan only searched the harbor. Actually, he knew in his heart that the tang bao had a lot to do with the explosion. He just hoped that it wasn't what he thought. No matter what, when Di Haoyan woke up, he would know better than anyone else what had happened. He was just trying to make up for it now. Then where did she go? Di Haoyan hasn't been found yet. He must be hiding. Gu Linshan looked at Luo Luoli's anxious little face, and his face couldn't help but darken. "You don't have to worry about her." "How can I not worry about her? The tang bao is also my friend. If you say any more, I won't care about the tang bao anymore." When Luo Luoli heard this, she tilted her head and looked at Gu Linshan. "Little uncle, will you? Don't you like the tang bao? Aren't you worried that something has happened to her?" Gu Linshan's expression was tense, and his face was gloomy. Luo Luoli felt that she had said something wrong. Although she didn't know what she had said wrong, perhaps it was because she had touched on a sore spot that Gu Linshan was displeased. "I won't say anything more. You look at the tang bao well." After Luo Luoli finished speaking, she turned around and ran away. Gu Linshan looked at the slender figure who was bouncing up the stairs. She was young and beautiful. Gu Linshan's eyes darkened as he stared at Luo Luoli. His mood was complicated. When Di Haoyan woke up and was free, he would spend some time with her. As he thought of this, Gu Linshan felt a warm feeling in his heart. He was very happy. Di Junbai walked into the house where the tang bao was staying. The moment he entered, he felt that something was wrong. It was fine if the tang bao was not around. Where was the child? He remembered that the child was left in the room when the tang bao left. He definitely did not take the child with him. Could the child have been taken away by someone? Di Junbai walked around the house but didn't find any clues. There wasn't even any sign of someone breaking the door open. Did someone close to him take the child? Who could it be? Just as Di Junbai was thinking, Hiju walked in. His face was always cold. When he saw Di Junbai, he asked, "Is young madam here?" "No." Hiju knew in his heart that the tang bao wouldn't be here, but he still asked. When he found out that the tang bao wasn't here, he felt a sense of loss. "I'm here to take the child." "No." Hiju frowned. "Why? That's the young master's child. Does he know how to take care of the child?" Di Junbai asked. Hiju looked at Di Junbai without changing his expression. "Second young master, don't you know? The young master is missing." "I don't care about that. Why is he missing? What happened?" Di Junbai asked. Logically speaking, Di Haoyan couldn't have disappeared. After all, the tang bao's life and death were still unknown. "I'm not too sure either. But if I want to take the child away, second young master won't stop me, right? Even if he stopped him, what was the reason? He couldn't stop him." "I won't stop you. It's just that the child isn't here." Hiju frowned. "What do you mean? The child is missing?" Hiju's expression changed drastically, and he quickly walked into the room. Chapter 667. Please don't let anything happen to Di Haoyan. Other than him, she had nothing else. Di Lingwei sneaked back home. Not only did he tell Di Junbai about his success, he also told Di Junbai about something else. "Hiju is leading his men to stop me. If he catches me, I'll be done for. No matter what, I can't let him catch me. Do you have any ideas?" Di Lingwei could tell from the past that Di Junbai was smart. Di Junbai could easily help him overcome difficulties that he couldn't think of. He felt that it would be the same this time. "You just want to avoid him?" Di Junbai asked. "How can I not avoid him? He knows what I've done. Even without Di Haoyan's order, he will shoot me." Di Lingwen knew. Hiju had the power to do so. Even if Hiju wanted to tell him everything, he wasn't afraid. He was afraid that Hiju would attack him directly. He couldn't defeat Hiju. "If I remember correctly, you said that you wanted to deal with Hiju. Why are you afraid of him now? No matter how good he is, he's not as noble as you. My brother isn't here now. Isn't it an opportunity for you to deal with him?" Di Junbai asked him back. Di Lingwei was stunned. That's right. Hiju had really messed up his mind. Why didn't he take this opportunity to get rid of Iju? Without Iju, Di Hao Ian would lose his right-hand man. It was much more beneficial for him. Especially if Di Hao Ian didn't appear, it would be a great help for him to take over T. Not only did he have to deal with Iju, but he also had to deal with Yu Songhuan. Yu Songhuan couldn't live either. However, if he wanted to deal with Yu Songhuan, he had a good plan. For example, using her grandson as a threat to seize T Group would be a piece of cake. Di Hao Ian was dead, and his grandson was the only descendant of the Di family. How could he not compromise? The more Di Linghua thought about it, the prouder he felt. The more he thought about it, the more relaxed he felt. It was as if the T Group was already in his hands. By the way, where are the two children? He shouldn't have been brought back yet, right? Di Hao Ian and Tang Bao are dead. Other than you, I don't think anyone else knows where they are. Di Linghua said confidently. No, that's good. Give a child to me. I'll need it when the time comes. No children. What do you mean? You're not going to help Tang Bao protect that kid, are you? Let me tell you, things have already come to this point. There is no turning back. Don't be too naive. If Yu Songhuan investigates, I will also be in trouble. Di Linghua was really afraid that his son would protect Tang Bao. After all, Di Junbai had always been helping Tang Bao. It was the same for running away. I want to check Tang Bao's house. The child is missing. What do you mean? The child is missing? Could it be that Yu Songhuan took him away? That's impossible. She always thought that the child wasn't Di Hao Ian's. How could she want to find the child? It's even more impossible to find the child so quickly. Di Linghua didn't understand. Then, he looked at Di Junbai suspiciously. Could it be that you hid the child to protect him and purposely told me this? If you don't believe me, you can go and find him yourself. Di Junbai's eyes darkened. How could Di Linghua not believe his son? He believed that Di Junbai would know what to do at the crucial moment. After all, he was his biological son. He wouldn't be so dense. Then who could have taken the child? It's impossible for Di Hao Ian and Tang Bao. It's also impossible for Yu Songhuan. It's also impossible for you and me. Who could it be? Di Linghua couldn't figure it out. Then, he thought of something important and asked, when the child went missing, who was there? Not a single person. Could it be that he was taken away by a stranger? Aren't there still people who kidnap and sell children these days? It's very possible that the child was left alone at home. Di Linghua said, I hope not. Di Junbai also couldn't think of anyone who could have taken the child away. Forget it. Let's not care about this for now. Iju is more important. Early the next morning, Di Linghua sneaked to the bungalow again. Yu Songhuan had always liked to wake up early. When Di Linghua entered the house, Yu Songhuan was having breakfast. Di Linghua looked like he wanted to say something, but stopped. Yu Songhuan wasn't in the mood these 2 days. When he saw Di Linghua's expression, his mood became even worse. If you have something to say, just say it. Sister-in-law, you should eat first. Di Linghua said awkwardly. Didn't you come to find me for something? If you have something to say, just say it. Yu Songhuan wasn't in the mood to eat breakfast. It had been like this for the past 2 days. He only ate 2 mouthfuls after Annie Wong persuaded him for a long time. I'm afraid that if I say it, you won't be able to take it. Sister-in-law, you must hold on. Di Linghua's words made Yu Songhuan panic. Then, he said angrily, say it. It's that Hao Ian's plane crashed. However, before the plane crashed, Hao Ian and Tang Bao fell into the harbor together. The most important thing is that Tang Bao had a bomb on him. When they fell into the harbor, the bomb exploded. Hao Ian and Tang Bao's bodies are nowhere to be found. Di Linghua said while crying. What did you say? Didn't you say that the plane crashed and Hao Ian went missing? How did they fall into the harbor and the bomb exploded? Yu Songhuan suddenly stood up. His breathing was disordered. Although I don't know where you got this information from, I know the inside story. How do you know? Because I overheard the conversation between He Ju and Wang Hai. He said that there was a bomb on Tang Bao. I wanted to save everything, but it was too late. Hao Ian got on the plane to save Tang Bao. Wang Hai? Isn't Wang Hai your driver? He Ju is loyal to Hao Ian. Why would he do such a thing? Actually, there's one more thing that I didn't dare to tell you. Now, is there anything that I can't bear? Yu Song-hwan supported himself with one hand on the table and said while enduring the pain in his heart. When Hao Ian fell off the cliff, He-ju also helped. Why is it him again? You didn't say that at the beginning. I didn't know at the beginning. That day, when I overheard the conversation between He-ju and Wang Hai, I knew that Wang Hai had always been unhappy with me and was secretly helping He-ju. Then what's He-ju's motive? He wants tea. Yu Song-hwan's mind was filled with shock and disbelief. He even had doubts. He-ju had followed Di Hao-ian for so many years. Why would he have such thoughts? He wants tea? He had to admit that this idea was too wild. What about Wang Hai? That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.